877-227-6376, and we will take all of your Patriots questions. You can also use the hashtag Parade Day on Twitter. And again, all your pictures, all your videos from today's parade as well. Our own Matt Chatham and Jermaine Wiggins will be on a duck boat. They will be checking in with us. We will have a live camera on one of the Patriots duck boats as well, and we will have cameras throughout the city along the parade route. But first, we want to head to City Hall Plaza, where Don Orsillo and Elle Duncan are standing by. Hi, guys.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Don Orsillo.
How are you?
I'm doing good. We're actually, you're right, Adam, we're right here at what would be the end of the parade route, I believe?
Yes, this is where it ends.
Center Plaza. I gotta say, right now, whether you're a soccer mom dropping your kids off at school or just a truck driver, you're feeling really special because anybody that drives by at this point is getting screams and cheers and kind of bombarded by fans already.
This is sort of the central area where everybody arrives. I mean, you think back to all the other parades over the years, and certainly this is sort of the center point of it, but in this parade is where it's going to end, and these fans are waiting for what will be the end of it here, and they've been here for about an hour or so. For those who did come in, traffic was certainly heavy coming into this area, to say the least, but you had to figure with everybody going to work this morning, midweek, and the parade, that it was going to be like that. But everybody is here, everybody's ready to go, and it should be a lot of fun.
Now, Don, I covered sports in Atlanta for years, so clearly I am not used to any type of championship parades, let's be honest. You've done quite a few, but this is actually your first time not being in the parade. Yeah. How does that feel up here on the risers amongst us normal people?
It's a little different. You know, you used to be on the duck boat looking down, but this is really cool, you know, to be a part of this and, you know, see the Patriots the way they've done it, you know, the way their organization has done it. You know, you think about the Crafts since they've taken over and what the Patriots were before they had arrived and what they have done since. It's truly amazing. And to think of all the duck boat parades we've had over the years, whether it be the Bruins, the Celtics, we are very, very fortunate here in Boston and in New England.
What an incredible sports city, you know. So we already have the Richard Sherman, you mad bro signs. We've got the Seahawks, you know what, that's a chant. So there are some defamatory phrases there. We've got the fatheads rolling. Adam, we're definitely going to have everything covered for you down here. We'll talk to some crazy fans. As you see, they're already excited, and literally they're just yelling at Camrys at this point. So I can't imagine when the players come through how fun this is going to be.
Yeah, it'll be a while, but they'll be ready for them.
Yeah, pretty good turnout so far, considering all the traffic that we've had. And I can see the city of Boston, they said they were going to clear all of that snow, reduce all of the mounds of snow so fans could enjoy the parade, and it looks like they did a pretty good job doing that. All right, here's a look at the parade route. Again, this will be a rolling rally. There will be no stationary rally this year due to the weather and the conditions, but this is where it will start. It will start at the Prudential Tower, go all the way down Boylston Street. It'll hit up Tremont Street and then end at City Hall Plaza. Again, the parade is expected to start 11 a.m., but you can see the Patriots were leaving Gillette Stadium just a short time ago. Not sure if that is going to delay things here, but again, the traffic, if you've been out at all, has been pretty brutal. Combination of the snow and just normal work traffic, along with the school buses that are out there. So we'll see what happens there, and we will, of course, keep tabs on that. As for the Patriots, well, this is their 4th Super Bowl title in the last 14 seasons, with Bill Belichick at the helm, Tom Brady as his quarterback. You heard Don Orsillo talking about the Kraft family and what they have done over the past 2 decades down in Foxborough. Certainly a legacy was born as soon as Bill Belichick took the headsets and Tom Brady went under center. But this 4th Super Bowl title certainly cementing their place in history. 4 Super Bowl titles matching Chuck Noll, Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady. 4 Super Bowl titles matching Joe Montana. Our own Jermaine Wiggins takes a look at the Patriots' legacy.
1 yard, 1 play, 1 moment is the difference between great and legendary, and the proof that the Patriots are the model franchise for football greatness.
Where your quarterback in his 15th year breaks another Super Bowl record.
The resume speaks volumes. 4 Super Bowl titles, 6 Super Bowl appearances, a near perfect season that ended with a miraculous catch in Super Bowl 42, and a drop pass in another Super Bowl, which would have led to the Patriots being 6-0 in Super Bowls in 14 years.
it's a hard thing to get here, and then it's a hard thing to win the game.
Brady and Belichick have the most title appearances amongst their peers.
It's been a great privilege to coach Tom for the last 15 years.
And last night, heroics should silence the critics and jabronis who point to video cameras and underinflated footballs for the reason of their success and greatness.
And the New England Patriots are on to a celebration thanks to a job well done.
So while the debate will continue whether Brady and Belichick sit atop the NFL's Mount Rushmore, both made it clear their job is far from done.
I'm still kind of in the midst of my career. You know, I just love the game. I love playing. I love representing our team.
The window is still open, and when football's greatest coach and quarterback duo make it to the mountaintop again, they will be in a class amongst themselves. But the funny thing is, they may already be there.
4 Super Bowl titles for Brady and Belichick, and Tom Brady showing no signs of slowing down. We want to send it back out to City Hall Plaza. Elle Duncan and Don Orsillo standing by. And Elle, you spent the week down in Glendale, Arizona. You were there from start to finish, and the Patriots' victory celebration after an improbable play to finish things off.
It was an improbable play. And you know what I'm most excited about? Because I'm interested. I know you watched the game at home, right? When you were at home, did it feel as Seahawks heavy as it was in the stadium? Because all week long we said Seahawks fans are outnumbering Patriots fans easily 15-1, and in the stadium as well. Could you sense that?
Not as much, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought it was more of an even split than I expected, especially where it was in the country. I thought perhaps it would be heavy Seattle, but in listening to it, it didn't appear to be as dominant as you may have seen there. But I'm very curious from you, what was it like to be there? I mean, it had to be incredible.
Oh, it was so cool. It was really cool. I actually have a really cool moment, one of those moments that I'm never going to forget, because just in full disclosure, at the end of games, when you're going to go onto the field, they come and they grab you early, you know that, and then they make you kind of stand in the tunnel, which is awful because you don't get to watch the game. So we're standing in the tunnel, there's about 2 minutes left in the game, and I'm surrounded by Patriots friends and family, different crews that were about to set up, and there's this tiny little monitor that everyone is watching. There's easily 400 people standing here watching this monitor. I was the only person that was listening to the broadcast on the radio, which is about 25 seconds ahead of television. So after the Jermaine Kearse catch, I mean, I tell you, some of these Patriots friends and family were almost in tears. I kept hearing, oh my God, here we go again. How is this happening? David Tyree, and everyone's freaking out. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, I hear them go, he throws a pick, he throws a pick. And so I just start screaming, he threw a pick, he threw a pick, he threw. And so that everyone starts staring at me, and they're like, are you kidding? Are you lying? What's happening? What's going on? Are you sure? And then as soon as I said it, it comes across the screen. The whole tunnel erupts. I get mobbed. I get hugged a few times. Like I was the one that wished it and willed it to happen. But it was just one of those moments that was really cool. So I either ruined the Super Bowl for some people because they didn't see it, or I definitely helped them out. But needless to say, a lot of excitement, especially afterwards when I took to the field and got a chance to talk to some of the players.
Yeah, I mean, words really can't describe how I feel right now. It was a battle. There were some ups and downs in the game. They were up. But at the end of the day, we made some big plays and we won the game. So.
Talk about momentum swings, because it seemed like this was a game of momentum swings. You started with it, and then it went all Seahawks, and it came back to you. At any point, did you guys need any firing up?
I feel like we all feed off each other. Defense made plays, offense made plays, and we did a good job of feeding off each other. And like I said, when Malcolm Butler with that play, that was tremendous. That was a great play, and he basically won us a Super Bowl there, so that was great.
And for his first career interception, I mean, can you even imagine? What did you guys say to him when you ran over to him on the sideline?
Well, I mean, first of all, he's a rookie, and his first career interception was in the Super Bowl to win the game. I mean, that's like a dream that that's a dream. That's a dream that comes true, so it was great.
Brandon said that he was very surprised that they didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the 1-yard line, and that Marshawn's probably pretty unhappy. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised at all. Russell Wilson had a lot of success throwing and running the ball, and so did Marshawn Lynch. So we just had to be aware and prepared for anything, and that's exactly what happened.
Like I was telling the guy earlier, Malcolm from OTAs all the way up until today, he had the most interceptions in practice out of anyone. So we knew he got ball skills, but he didn't have none on the season. He took the right time to get his first interception.
Surprised at all they didn't decide to run the ball with Marshawn Lynch on the 1-yard line?
people out-strategize themselves sometimes. You got the best back in the game. All you had to do is turn around and give it to them.
James, at any point did you guys feel like you were out of this one?
No, I think that's the true grit of our team. Is just unbelievable mental toughness. I couldn't be prouder to be a part of this organization and be a part of this team. We just kept grinding no matter what the obstacle in front of us.
After that curse catch, I know Patriots fans were thinking, oh my God, here we go again. What were you thinking?
We just had to go out there and take care of business, you know. Malcolm Butler stepped up in a big way, and guys just had to step up and make plays, and that's what we did.
How do you feel right now about the fact that you're world champions again, and the effort that it took to do it?
It's a dream come true. It really is. It's surreal. I mean, we're world champions. We're the best football team in the whole world, and it's going to take a little while to settle in, I think.
Lastly, that Cliff Averill going out, the Cliff Averill concussion, how big was that for your offense?
I mean, I honestly didn't even know. My mind was just on doing my job and taking care of what I had to do.
Just talk about the mix of emotions. I mean, you guys started out gangbusters, and then it really shifted the Seahawks' way. Can you just talk about what you're going through on the sideline when you saw Malcolm Butler pick that?
On that last at the very end, I was on the field with him. Oh man, I jumped on top of that man. Oh my gosh, he had a great game today. That whole momentum swing with them, that's just how it is. We're two of the best teams in the NFL, and we knew it was going to be a hard-fought game, 60 minutes. They're very mentally and physically tough, but so are we, and I think we showed that by keeping our composure, even though everything was shifting their way. We did really well with that.
What are you thinking when you see that curse catch, that miracle catch towards the end of the game?
He had a great bounce. I think it was a well-defended play. He had a great bounce, obviously, and he made a big play for his team. But after that, Malcolm made an even bigger play for us. So at the end, we won it.
Brandon said that he's not surprised at all because Malcolm picks more people off in practice than anybody he's ever seen. What did you guys say to him after he makes the most monumental pick of his career, his first?
Honestly, I didn't know it was him at first. I was sitting there, yeah, Reeve. I was screaming, Reeve. I thought it was a 4. And I saw his mouth, I was like, yeah, Malk. And I was just still on top and just screaming. And, I was just telling him, man, you had a huge game today. You should be proud of yourself, man. You worked hard for this. And he definitely worked hard, being undrafted to, playing a lot on this team. He did a great job for us.
Can you talk a little bit about the last couple weeks and all the off-the-field garbage and how good it felt to put some of that behind and maybe shut those people up just a bit?
Well, all that's in the past now. Like you just said, we're world champs, and nobody can take that away from us now.
Never.
And we proved that, whatever it was, we went over and we defied all odds. People, they tried to bring us down, and we just, we kept our minds straight, and we knew we had to stay focused on the next task ahead, and that was Seattle. And we did that, and now we're world champs.
Devin told me that when I asked if he felt like y'all's defense was being overshadowed by the Seahawks defense, considering you have really comparable numbers, he said, we have to earn that because they've earned that. Do you feel like after today you have earned the right to say you are the best defense in the world?
I can tell you one thing, we're the best team in the world. That's the one thing I can tell you right now. Defensively, offensively, and special teams-wise, we're the best in the world as it is right now.
It didn't take long. We have a dig at Peyton Manning. Was waiting on that one. Arrived last night, been here since 4:30, celebrating another championship while Peyton is out golfing today. Priceless. Gotta love it. Don, just as a spectator, one of the greatest games you've ever seen?
Oh, no question. Start to finish, especially for Super Bowl, and you could understand with the amount of adversity that the Patriots had going into the Super Bowl. If they had gone the other way, not played well, I think people would have understood with everything that they were under, the scrutiny they were under leading up to it in the 2 weeks. But for them to play the way they did, come back and win, just spectacular and so much fun to watch, especially when you're on the right side in the end.
Exactly. When you're on the winning side, I think it'd be pretty cool to get Roger Goodell out here, Adam. Maybe put him on a parade float, have him do his apology in front of all of these Patriots fans. That I would pay for, right? Yep. We're sending it back to you.
I don't think you're going to see it happen, though.
I don't think it's going to happen. No.
I think the intention was to hear people cheering on this day and not necessarily booing, so it would probably be a good idea for Roger Goodell to keep his distance, although it was interesting to see him embrace Tom Brady presenting the MVP and the trophy ceremony at the Super Bowl, the interaction there between he and Robert Kraft. Either way, no Roger Goodell at this parade as we await the Patriots, who, as you can see, are making their way up the highway at this point, trying to get to Boston for an 11 a.m. start, but right now it's 10:15. Doesn't look like they're running into much traffic, of course, probably having an escort, needless to say, to bring them into the city. You know, I heard Don talk about the fact that this is probably one of the best Super Bowls in history. There's no doubt about that. Out of the 49, this certainly ranks up there. But if you think of the Patriots Super Bowls in this century, this is the 6th Super Bowl the Patriots have played in. All of them have been close games, none determined by more than 4 points. Think about that for a second. Of course, the Patriots' first victory hinged on an Adam Vinatieri 48-yard field goal. And for a lot of people, that was the most memorable Super Bowl because it was the first in franchise history. The subsequent Super Bowls were certainly nice. But this one was special in the fact that this was 10 years removed from their last Super Bowl. And you think of the poetry here, talking about the Seattle Seahawks looking to become the first team to win back-to-back Super Bowls since the Patriots did it 10 years before. So a lot on the line for the Patriots' legacy in this Super Bowl, and a lot on the line for Bill Belichick. It was a milestone year for Bill Belichick, passing Curly Lambeau on the all-time wins list and then passing Tom Landry on the all-time playoff wins list, tying Chuck Noll now for the most Super Bowls by a head coach in NFL history. Certainly an eventful year, and not to mention dealing with the controversy at the end of the season with the Deflategate. But at the end of the day, the Patriots and Bill Belichick are Super Bowl champions once again.
First of all, I'd like to, on behalf of the Patriots, thank the people who have helped us so much out here in Arizona. The Sheraton Wild Horse, the staff was awesome. The accommodations are great. They did a tremendous job of working with us in every single way. And the people at the Cardinals facility, Matt Carciola and many other people there that helped us so much have a great week of preparation. That it was awesome. So it was a tremendous trip from that standpoint. You know, can't say enough about really the Seattle Seahawks. That's a great football team, well coached. I have tremendous respect for Pete and the entire organization. Obviously, it was a game that came down to the final seconds, the yard maybe separated the two teams, and that's a good football team that we played last night. But in the end, I just couldn't be prouder of all the people in our organization. I mean, the players, you know, Tom referred to some of them, the coaching staff, just all year long. This team grinded it out. They're tough physically, they're tough mentally. They competed day after day. I can tell you that I worked this team hard. I know from personal experience that this team came to work every day. They worked hard. They didn't make any excuses. When things didn't go right, they just rolled up their sleeves and got back to work and tried to fix them. It wasn't always perfect like last night, but it's a group that never stopped competing, never stopped fighting, never stopped playing. And I think last night's game kind of, for me, was reflective of the entire year, what I saw on a daily basis from that group of players and coaches and the coaching staff. So Tom, I mean, you know, a lot of things were said about him this morning. They're all true. I mean, he's been a great player. It's been a great privilege to coach Tom for the last 15 years, 14 years, really as a starting quarterback. You know, we have a great relationship. We meet on a regular basis, weekly, several times, and you know, I can't think of a more deserving player than Tom to be the recipient of the accolades that he has this week, and particularly last night and today. He's our leader. He competes as well as any player I've ever coached. He's well prepared. He's got great poise, great presence. May not always be perfect, like it isn't for any of us. We all have our moments, but Tom, like many other players on our team, is the guy that fights to the end and competes to the end. And there's no player that I respect more for that than Tom. And so That's been a great pillar of strength for our football team over the last decade and a half, and I sincerely appreciate that. But I'd say the same about a lot of other players on this team too. This is a hard-working team. It's a tough team. It's a competitive team, and I think they showed that last night. Yeah.
Good morning, Bill. Vince Wilfork told me a couple of weeks ago that this roster had perfect chemistry, and you said last night you knew it was a special team. When did you realize that you had put all the pieces together just right?
Well, I don't know that I ever knew that, but I'd say kind of the turning point for me in this season was at a halftime, the Kansas City game, and I mentioned that last night. I thought that was a game and a situation that obviously didn't go well, and we weren't in any position to win the game. But at the end of the game, in the second half, fourth quarter, I thought our team played as hard as they could play. We didn't play well. We weren't coached well, but we competed hard, and that was a good sign. When we got some other things straightened out and improved, we had better results, such as the following week against Cincinnati and many of the succeeding weeks after that. So I thought that was, as much as that was a tough night for us, and I thought that at the time, that it was a challenge the team at halftime. They responded, and I thought that was, in the end, a key moment for our football team. Yes.
Congratulations, Coach. In the first quarter of the season, it was obvious that you have some pretty heavy issues to deal with. And from that point on, we have seen a different team, especially after the loss against the Chiefs. Now that the season is over and you are the champions, can you tell us what happened in that 6 days when you were on to Cincinnati?
Yeah. No, I don't think there was any big revelation. It's a team that worked hard all season long, from, as Tom said, the beginning of OTAs through training camp. Every day of the season, the regular season. I don't think this season turned in one day or one play or 5 minutes or anything like that. It was a day by day, practice period by practice period process where we just all worked harder to get better and fix the problems and fix the things that didn't go well, both from the coaching and a playing standpoint. So it's a long process. We weren't the same team in October we were in September. We weren't the same team in December we were in October. We got better on a consistent basis throughout the course of the year, and last night was a finished product. We played 3 very good football teams in the postseason. Baltimore's a great football team. Indianapolis came back off the Denver win. They're a great team, and of course Seattle. So we had to play our best football in the most important time of the year, and that's what these guys did. I don't think it was any one thing that happened, but it's more of a hard-working, grinded-out effort and attitude by our team over a sustained period of time, and that's really what it takes in this league. You can't do anything in 5 minutes. It takes a lot more than that.
Yeah, Bill. Julian made obviously a really big catch. I think it was like 10 minutes to go. Cam hit him hard, stayed, held on to the ball. After that, was he checked for concussion, or and if so, the results of that?
Yeah, I'm a coach, and I have a deal with our trainers and doctors. They're the medical experts, and they don't call plays, and I'm the coach, and I don't get involved in the medical department. So when they clear players to play, then if we want to play them, we play them. And the plays we call, I don't have to get approval from them. So it's a good setup.
Coach, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you. Thank you.
Given how absolute you were about having no involvement in, obviously, the balls being underinflated, perhaps, in the AFC Championship game, I wonder if you feel like your team made a statement, if any, last night with their performance after a week of being under siege.
Yeah, I don't have any other comment on that. I've twice gone into great detail about everything I knew. I've tried to be totally transparent and given everybody as much information as I have, and that's all I have to give.
Bill,
Yes, Bill.
can you talk about the going into this past season and upgrading the cornerback position, the thought about going after Rivas and Browner, and obviously why those two?
You know, it's a great question. And, you know, sometimes things just work out. Maybe it's, you know, it's not always a great plan. Sometimes it's just the way things fall. You know, we tried to sign Aqib, and we got into a negotiation with him and his representatives. You know, he's a great football player, ended up signing with Denver. Rivas was available because Tampa released him, so that we were able to get involved in that one. We talked to Brandon, and in the end, we were able to work it out with both players. So it just, you know, sometimes those things just work out, and I'd say that's not dissimilar to the receiver situation, where we were, you know, we talked to Julian, and unlike Aqib, that one was able to work out, and in the process of doing that, we had conversations with LaFell and other receivers, and that worked out as well. So sometimes, you know, you just don't really know how those things can go until you get into them, and you know, you talk to the players, you talk to the representatives, you try to figure out where you are as a team, and you do what's best. And in that case, both players have, all three players really, Rivas, Browner, and LaFell, three guys that have come in that weren't on our team, then have made a real big impact on our team. In addition to, you know, I'd say really the four guys that came in during the season. You know, Branch, Casillas, Blunt, and Ayers. That, you know, for one reason or another, signings, trades, whatever it happened to be, guys that weren't with our team at the beginning of the year that came in later on, you know, had a significant impact. But those signings were, I'd say, as much a part of the players wanting to play here as it was us wanting the players on our team. And so it worked out.
You are looking live at the Patriots team bus headed up 93 North in the HOV lane, getting closer to the city of Boston to celebrate their Super Bowl title with the fans. The Boston Globe's Shalise Manzi-Young joins us in studio as we continue our live coverage of the Super Bowl victory parade right here on NESN. This is NESN's live coverage of the Patriots Super Bowl victory parade in the city of Boston. Glad you could be with us. Adam Peller in the NESN Television Center alongside the Boston Globe's Shalise Manzi-Young. We have you covered from start to finish. Our own Elle Duncan and Don Orsillo are at City Hall Plaza at the finish line. And you can see in the box in the lower left-hand corner, the Patriots team buses making their way up 93 North in the HOV lane. I think they're out of the HOV lane now and making their way with a police escort, hopefully in time for an 11 a.m. start for the rolling rally. And that is a live look on Boylston Street in the lower right-hand corner. Boston police with their presence, as they have been for every rolling rally we've had in the city of Boston. This will mark the 9th championship rolling rally we've had to celebrate. We have you covered from start to finish. We want to take your phone calls as well. 1-866 Ask NESN. That's 1-866-275-6376. We want you to send our pictures, or your pictures and videos as well, with the hashtag Parade Day. We have former Patriots linebacker Matt Chatham will be joining us shortly. Former Patriots tight end Jermaine Wiggins as well. They're both on a duck boat. They've been on the duck boat before. They've had some Super Bowl championships to celebrate, but we have you covered from start to finish. And we want to go right now to the finish line. Elle Duncan and Don Orsillo standing by. Hey, guys.
Hey, Adam. Don, we are here at the finish line to Central Plaza. You gotta hope these fans have something left, because right now they are really on like a trillion.
Yeah, you know what? And they've been like this now for about an hour and a half. So, I mean, they're fired up. It's going to be a while before the duck boats get here. This is the end of the parade here at City Hall as it works out. Adam mentioned the police presence, and that's one thing that I really did notice in the parades that we've been involved in with the Red Sox. I mean, they are along the parade route the entire way. The one aspect that's a little bit different this year, both for the fans that are attending the parade and the police, the snowbanks. I mean, they are all throughout the city, and for where we even are, you can see a great deal of snow all the way around. So the mayor has asked that fans do not stand on the snowbanks, certainly not safe, and they are abiding by that request right now. They're standing back of them, and the good thing is the duck boats are elevated, so everybody will have a chance to see their favorite players come by.
And they're kind of like little human snowplows, because they are now throwing snowballs. So
right.
At this point, they've just totally, it's actually really exciting and really cool too, because I have been dealing with the most, they may not have won a Lombardi, but the Seahawks fans get the award for the most obnoxious in the NFL. I'm telling you.
Really, huh?
Oh, they were just so bad. And it's one thing to be excited. It's another thing to constantly be screaming in your face. It was just too much. And so it's nice to see these Patriots fans out here. Don, they're excited about anything. A red car drove by, so they started screaming USA. It's pretty exciting. Who's the most obnoxious fan in baseball?
Philadelphia Phillies are pretty obnoxious, and I mean Yankees fans for the most part are always going to be obnoxious. But they're the toughest crowds I think that we see from a Red Sox standpoint. But you're right, you know they're here with their signs. I'm always impressed by how intelligent the New England fan is, the Boston fan is, and a lot of great signs here. A lot of you mad bros.
Yeah, of course.
Signs out
mad
here.
Bro. Got lots of fat heads and Tom Brady. They keep yelling Brady. I'd say for no reason, but for every reason. Come on, it's Tom Brady. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Like I said, I hope they still have something left when those duck boats do finally come around. And are you surprised at the crowd? I mean, considering, look, with the Red Sox parades, it's beautiful. It's October. With the Celtics, it's in the summer. Even with the Bruins, it's in the spring. Are you surprised how many people are here?
I kind of wondered about it, I'll be honest with you, because it is midweek and people are just getting back to work. Kids just getting back to school after missing the last 2 days. Kind of felt like it would be a lot less children here. There are a lot of kids here, as it turns out, and there are a lot of people here, but you're right. The other parades generally have been on weekends or in the summer or at the very least early fall in the Red Sox case 3 times. So, but the turnout here where we are is tremendous right now. It doesn't seem like it's a problem at all.
It's not a problem. It is a problem, though, Adam, when you're working with Don Orsillo, because he arguably could have his own parade. The Dontourage is in full effect. Some guy just offered to make him shrimp scampi. I don't know.
Well, Don Tangelo. It's Don Tangelo. Yeah, everybody knows about Don Tangelo, very well-known culinary artist in the off-season. But glad to see that the people are coming out. As you mentioned, certainly a question mark because of the weather, because of the traffic. But you can see as we take another look at the crowds at City Hall Plaza, which is the end of the rolling rally. Again, there won't be a stationary rally this year. They're just going to roll throughout the streets of Boston, going down Boylston Street, heading down Tremont, and then finishing up at City Hall Plaza. You see a lot of Tom Brady jerseys in the crowd, as you might expect. Tom Brady winning his 3rd Super Bowl MVP, his 4th Super Bowl title, matching his boyhood idol, Joe Montana. 10 years removed from the last time the Patriots won a Super Bowl. And again, Tom Brady, Super Bowl MVP. Here's the Patriots quarterback the day after the big win.
A great honor. I think there's a lot of people that are very deserving of this award, and a great game by our team. A lot of individual players played phenomenal. It was a real test for our team, and I'm just honored to be up here. Any questions?
Tom, I know it's relatively early on in the process, but can you comment at all about where your place in the game might be after a 4th Super Bowl title?
You know, I've never thought much about that, and I'm still kind of in the midst of my career. So, I just love the game. I love playing. I love representing our team. All the guys work really hard. It's a big commitment that a lot of players make to play this game, and it's a lot of sacrifices and a lot of support from a lot of people that love you and support you. So, probably the most gratifying thing is to win the game and then to celebrate with your teammates and your loved ones. And we've been on the other end of this 2 times in the last 7 years. Being ahead late in the game with the chance to win and not closing it out. And I'm glad we had the opportunity to do it. And like I said, it took a lot of coach talked, all week about how it was going to take all 60 minutes, and it certainly did. And it never broke our will. We were down 10 in the 4th quarter, and being on the 1-yard line with 20 seconds left, but the guys never gave up, and you fight to the end, and great things happen. So it was great for our fans, great for the people that support us, and I'm just really proud of our accomplishment.
Tom, just wondering if you can take us through the 4th quarter drives, what you saw that was maybe different from the 3rd quarter, and my second question is, how much longer can you keep doing this?
Well, I love doing it, so I don't want it to end anytime soon. So, a lot of decisions that I make in my life are about how to, sustain it. And, it takes a commitment in and of itself. It's you got to put it in the bank, as Coach always says, and that's when you need it. It's there when you need it. So, the 4th quarter, I thought we did a great job moving the ball all night. I made a few pretty stupid throws to really kind of get our team in a hole. And we lost points there on the first drive. Gave them a touchdown there and to start the 3rd quarter. So that wasn't the way that we talked about the game going. But I thought we had a great plan. Coaches worked so hard to get us players prepared. We had 2 really great weeks of practice, and, it paid off. So it shows up in the biggest games, and we've had a lot of clutch performers on our team. We've shown that all year. We've dealt with a lot of adversity, from the start of the year all the way on through the end. So it was just great to be able to finish it out.
I can tell you, people won't remember the stupid throws from Tom Brady. They'll remember the 4 touchdowns in the game, 2 in the 4th quarter, leading the Patriots to victory. And right now, the Patriots are en route to Boston, getting closer and closer. And we continue our live coverage of the Super Bowl victory parade right here on NESN.
You are watching NESN's live coverage of the Super Bowl parade for the Patriots. We are here at 2 Center Plaza at the end of what's going to be the parade when they eventually make their way down here.
Players making their way to the duck boats. We are here ready to see them here, and we're glad you're with us as well as our coverage continues here on NESN. We'll step aside and come back with more right after this.
NESN's live coverage of the Patriots Super Bowl victory parade and rolling rally through the city of Boston continues right now. Adam Peller in the NESN Television Center alongside the Boston Globe's Shalise Manzi-Young. We have you covered from start to finish here. You can see our own Don Orsillo and Elle Duncan standing by at City Hall Plaza, which is the finish line of this rolling rally to celebrate the Patriots' 4th Super Bowl title in the last 14 years. And you can see a live look right now at Boylston Street. The parade will start at the Prudential Center, make its way down Boylston to Tremont Street, and then finish things off at City Hall Plaza. We want to hear from you during our live coverage. Call us at 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. Send us your pictures and videos. I'm sure there will be a lot to choose from. Use the hashtag Parade Day on Twitter or Instagram. And, of course, we have our Super Bowl champions who work here at NESN on the duck boats. Former Patriots linebacker Matt Chatham and former Patriots tight end Jermaine Wiggins will join us with their report from the duck boats. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of fun, and we have cameras throughout the city ready to bring you the best coverage possible. But for now, we want to send you back out to Elle Duncan and Don Orsillo. So what's the crowd looking like now, guys?
Oh, wow. Well, I feel very news reportery, but as you notice, I can't barely hear you, Adam, and that's because, what, Don, there was maybe a few hundred people here when we got here an hour ago, and now?
Oh, it's growing leaps and bounds here by the moment, and they were about 2 deep before. Now they're 3 or 4 deep, so on both sides, and they're starting to close down some of the streets around here as well. Still a ways from their being here and the getting started. Once they do, this is the end point. So it has definitely grown. There's definitely more people in the City Hall area here than had been here even 20, 25 minutes ago, and I think really a testament to what the mayor had asked, and so many asked, if you come into the parade, use public transportation, because we see a lot of them coming off the tee to be here now. Not a lot of them driving in, which is certainly a good thing for a parade that appears it's going to be very big, despite the fact it's during the week and it's during a school day.
And Don, you know, you obviously have done quite a few of these parades, and you talked a little bit about the difference and how they're going to end this parade. This is usually what, the middle point for the parades?
It is for the Red Sox, because generally we've gone out on the Charles afterwards. You swing down around, and this is somewhere in the middle of the trip. But you think back to all those years the Celtics were so dominant, and they had sort of their end point here, and they would speak here at this point. And in years past, the Patriots had spoken here as well as part of the end of the parade. But usually you see the center point of City Hall here with so many fans, and it was really the largest crowd you would see as part of the duck boat parades for the Red Sox was this area. And right now they're along the sides of it, but they're not in the middle, so it's not as large as it normally would be. But for us, yeah, this is sort of the midpoint of what would be a Red Sox parade.
And of course, this is going to be the end point of the parade, and there's fans coming from all over. I mean, literally, I think we just saw a guy with a sign that said he was from Montreal, which is surprising. I can't believe he'd be a Patriots fan and not an Alouettes fan. Anyway,
CFL.
So I'm just saying.
CFL reference.
No knock on CFL. I'm just saying. So already a good time. They're already throwing snowballs, and like I said, for the next few minutes, if you're able to get down this road, and I think they actually just closed the road off, but for a while there, if you were anybody with a horn, then you were being greeted with the loudest cheer of all. So it made a lot of people feel really good for about 5 seconds of their life, which is great.
That's canceled now, because they definitely closed that off, Adam. And they're starting to close the other side off now, too, because the crowd has grown. For a while, there were passing cars here to our left, and that's now not happening either. So this area is now starting to pick up. It's still quite a ways for us before we start seeing duck boats.
They're coming out of the woodworks, man.
Yeah, it looks like that, and it also looks like some of the Patriots are coming out of the buses right now as we take a live look at some aerials. The Patriots team buses, of course, leaving Foxborough at about 10 o'clock this morning, making their way up 93 with a police escort, as you might expect, using the HOV lane, and they made pretty good time. Right now it is 10 of 11. Again, the parade expected to start at 11 a.m. Not sure if it is going to start on time. Again, they still have to load everybody in the duck boats, and as we saw from the video, a lot of buses bringing the Patriots into the city. Of course, a lot of members of the organization a part of this. Take another look at the Patriots parade route right now, as Don was alluding to. You saw that. Starts at Prudential Center, heads up to Boylston Street, banging a left on Tremont, and then ending things off at City Hall Plaza, where we just heard from El Duncan and Don Orsillo. Boston Globe Shalise Manzi-Young joins us on set now. And Shalise, you did not have a police escort here, so you ran into some traffic. It took you a while to get here. But you finally join us now, and you know, we were talking about a whole range of things. Brady's legacy in particular. Has this cemented his legacy as the greatest quarterback in the history of the National Football League?
You know, I think it has. Obviously, I didn't watch, you know, guys 40, 50 years ago. But look, in this era, you're talking about it's free agency. He's done it entirely with free agency. He's done it with entirely different teammates. Vince Wilfork, the only other Patriots player who has a ring from those first 3 Super Bowl championships. Vince Wilfork, a rookie in 2004. So yes, I mean, he's done it, you know, Terry Bradshaw, what they did with the Steelers, tremendous accomplishment, but that was 4 times in 6 years. So that was really close together. And even Joe Montana, when he won, that was, you know, those were sort of closer together as well. So for Brady to have 3, he went to 2 other Super Bowls. He wins his 4th with, like I said, entirely new set of teammates. You've seen the Patriots change defenses. They were a dominant 3-4 defense, you know, a decade ago. Now they're more 4-3, definitely more of a hybrid. Sometimes we see them go with a 4-2-5 defense a lot right now. And then Brady's offensive weapons. You know, Joe Montana had Jerry Rice.
John Taylor. Brent Jones.
Right. He had these great players that he threw to. And, you know, that's not to knock Wes Welker and Randy Moss, but Moss is probably the only receiver that Brady's ever thrown to that's going to the Hall of Fame.
Unless Rob Gronkowski continues to stay healthy.
Correct.
Randy Moss right now is the only one going to the Hall of Fame, and it just speaks to what the Patriots have been able to do, Tom Brady in particular. But, you know, it was funny. We were taking calls, and I do want to remind people, you can call us questions for Shalise Manzi-Young of the Boston Globe, who covers the Patriots on a daily basis. 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. And as I was starting to say, Jermaine Wiggins and I were on right after the Super Bowl, and one of the first questions that we got from callers was about next year and about the Patriots' future and about what they're going to do moving forward, and one guy in particular. Let's go to the phones now. We do have a call from Bruce in New Hampshire. Hey, Bruce, how are you?
I'm great. Great coverage you guys have on TV. I wish I could be there, but I can't today. So But I'm looking towards the future already, even though this is not the time to start. But I want to see them re-sign Revis, number one. What do you think on that?
Do you think that the Patriots are going to re-sign Darrelle Revis, Shalise? And if so, do you think it'll be a team option or they'll restructure a contract?
Well, they have the team option now, and it would be $20 million for next year if they do keep him at the current contract. And I actually think it would be a $25 million hit against their salary cap, which obviously is significant. The NFL salary cap is going to go up for the 2015 season, but that's almost 18-20% of your salary cap if you pay him that money. I think both sides want to stay, but we've seen Darrelle Revis in the past. He, more than almost any other player in the NFL, understands that his time is very limited, and if there's somebody out there who is willing to pay him 5 years and let's say $80 or more million, and a fair chunk of that is guaranteed, he would go that way. You know, he has the ring now. He came here to get the ring. He has the ring. So I think the Patriots would love to keep him. I think Bill Belichick certainly understands now why you need to have dominant quarterbacks in this NFL current landscape and how, you know, offense is such a big part of things. But you can't, it's hard to see the Patriots extending Darrelle Revis for the type of big money that another team might overpay for him. Let's say Rex Ryan wants to reunite with him in Buffalo, or really any team. What team wouldn't want to have a shutdown corner who clearly is back more than 100% after tearing his ACL a couple of years ago?
Our live coverage of the Patriots Super Bowl parade continues. You can see the buses right there parked. It seems like they're getting ready to depart the buses and get on those duck boats and start the rolling rally. At 11 o'clock start was the allotted time, or the slated time for the beginning of the parade. We'll see if that happens. We do want to continue to take your calls right now. 1-866-ASK-NESN. That's 1-866-275-6376. And right now we have Randy calling in from Taunton. Hey, Randy.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, you have a question for Shalise?
I do.
Fire away.
What you got, Randy?
All right. Hi, Shalise. Just wondering, you know, I'm really hoping they can re-sign Revis and keep McCourty, but, you know, during the offseason and free agency, what other moves, you know, whether it's a wide receiver or a linebacker or something on the defensive line, do you see the Patriots making in the offseason? Thanks.
I don't know that this is going to be a year where they're big spenders in the free agent market. I don't think they need to be.
Well, why would they? I mean,
I think
what they have right now on their roster was good enough to get the job done.
Exactly. You have, you know, Brandon LaFell, obviously, after really stumbling out of the gate. He had 0 catches through the first 2 games of the season. He ended up becoming a huge part of this offense by the end of the season. We see Rob Gronkowski is healthy. His contract technically at the moment goes through 2019, so he's not going anywhere for a while. The only question marks offensively the Patriots have are a little bit on the offensive line. Dan Connolly's contract is up. A little bit of a question mark what's going to happen with the tackle position. Marcus Cannon, the money he got, it looks like starter money potentially. Sebastian Vollmer signed for the next couple years, but Nate Solder has a big, at the moment, he has a big number against the salary cap, over $7 million when they picked up his option. Defensively, though, you know, I think, unfortunately for Devin McCourty, I hate the franchise tag, and I think that's the way
you
that
think
we're
that's
going.
The direction that they're
I
going
do.
with Devin
I think
McCourty.
that's the way they're going to go with Devin McCourty, because franchise tag, in terms of the value of them, I think safety is like the 2nd or 3rd cheapest. So from a team perspective, it's quite friendly for them to, you know, to franchise him and keep him around and then see what happens. I don't like it for the players. I think it's really
don't like it.
Yeah, the players don't like it.
We've seen a number of holdouts over the years because of the franchise
And then
tag.
I think, like I said, I don't know that there'll be big players on the free agent market. I think one big thing that we may see is, will they renegotiate Gerard Mayo? He is on the books for a lot of money over the coming 3 years. He now has missed 20 games over the last 2 years in the regular season because of his injuries. So, and, you know, he's been in the league now since 2008. So you could see the Patriots going to him, renegotiating. He can still be a big part of this defense, but I think he's going to have to take a pay cut like Vince Wilfork did last year.
And you just wonder, you know, with the emergence of Dante Hightower, you know,
and Jamie Collins,
this linebacking core, which was not exactly, you know, the strongest aspect of this defense going into the season, really emerged. And Jamie Collins, of course, a rising star on this defense. But I do want to get back to some of these free agents, and I wrote down the list, and you mentioned Devin McCourty, Shane Vereen. Stephen Ridley's an interesting one because because, again, you know, his contract's up. He's a free agent. Patriots might be able to get him at some pretty cheap money.
Definitely. You know, you're talking about a running back coming off a torn ACL, and unfortunately for running backs and every NFL player, they look at Adrian Peterson and what he was able to do. That's not normal, you know. Right. So Stephen Ridley, we all know he's had his share of ups and downs in his time with the Patriots, had that one phenomenal season, over 1,200 yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, and then he had those hiccups with the fumbles. So I'm not sure what his market, you know, what kind of market he will attract if he hits free agency, because he's coming off that major injury. And again, the Patriots could keep him around, but they have LeGarrette Blount under contract for 2015. They have James White, who really is the younger, cheaper version of Shane Vereen. They have him, assuming he gets stronger. I think that's the big what's holding James White back from getting on the field this year is he's a little too small, he's a little too light. So, you know, getting in the weight room, getting stronger will be a big thing for James White this offseason. So that running back position, I think, could look really different next year than this year.
And it has over the years. And that's why the Patriots, they pick up these players in the draft, and you wonder, it's like, well, this is the same guy as this guy, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, this guy's contract's going to be up. So we need a contingency plan to move forward, and the Patriots have been able to shuffle running backs and wide receivers over the years, and you've seen they've had that same success. But the big question, of course, in the offseason, Darrelle Revis, that's what people want to know, because a lot of people think that this Patriots team would not have won the Super Bowl without Darrelle Revis. Do you agree?
I think you can make that argument. I think certainly what he did for the defense, and it's interesting because I had this discussion with a colleague a couple days ago, but everyone talks about how exotic Bill Belichick can get with his defenses. And yes, they did that in the front seven this year, but basically on the back end with the secondary, it was just man-to-man, and there's nothing exotic about that. But when you have a player like Darrelle Revis, who is so technically sound and who is so good in man-to-man, Brandon Browner, obviously he had his hiccups with penalties and things like that, but again, a very sound man-to-man coverage guy. And then we saw Kyle Arrington thrive in the slot because of having Revis and Browner on the outside. So, you know, nothing fancy was going on back there, but it was just really, really good coverage. You saw that on Sunday night against the Seahawks. I mean, look how long it took Russell Wilson before he attempted a pass or completed a pass. It was well into the second quarter before he even completed a pass.
Not to mention the last play of the game, and underrated on that play. Not overlooked, but Brandon Browner able to jam Jermaine Kearse at the line. We want to welcome you to NESN's live coverage of the Patriots Super Bowl victory parade. A rolling rally that is set to start any minute now as the Patriots arrive in the city of Boston. Adam Pellerin here in the NESN Television Center alongside the Boston Globe's Shalise Manzi-Young. Up on the left is Boylston Street. That is where the parade will start, and you can see the fans have lined up despite the weather, despite the horrible traffic coming into the city. They are out in droves, as they have been for the previous 8 rolling rallies we've had from Boston sports teams. And then on the bottom left, you can see buses. Those are the Patriots team buses getting off the buses right now, getting set to go into those duck boats. And in the lower right-hand corner, we're at the finish line. Our own Elle Duncan and Don Orsillo are there, and the fans are really starting to pile up. Elle and Don, how we doing?
They are really starting to pile up. As a fan is screaming at Dawn to look at Dawn, look at me, Dawn. I'm not gonna lie, because this is, like I've said before, I did sports in Atlanta for a long time, and so obviously there are no parades happening there. So when I got here and there was a few hundred people, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a pretty good crowd. It's cold, good for them. Oh my gosh, there are thousands and thousands of people now.
It has picked up pretty dramatically, and I think it'll be more so here as time goes on. As Adam just mentioned, this is the end point of this parade here, so these fans are waiting for, going to be waiting a little while before they actually see a duck boat come along here. So now they're starting to gather here. Sometimes fans will change locations too. You may start early where the parade starts and then move up here to where it will end. You get the chance twice to be able to see your favorite players. So that's something some fans do as well. But right now it is definitely growing. This is more along the lines of what I'm used to seeing up here right now.
Don, you are somewhat of a parade expert, obviously, with the Red Sox. What's it like when you're, because I know you've never been on this side, you've never been in the crowd, you've always been on the actual duck boats, but what's it like, kind of that sense of emotion as you're going through the city?
Elliot, is so cool. It is something that I would never forget. forget, as long as I live. I mean, have the chance to see so many people come out, especially the last one for me. 2013 was pretty incredible because so many people came out, and we were on the Charles as well. There were people out there in boats, and, they're just so happy. The problem is a lot of times you win, especially in the Patriots situation, you're going to win this championship away from your home. You don't have a chance to share it with your fans. And that was the case for the Red Sox, both in St. Louis and in Colorado in 04 and 07. It made it very special in 2013. They had the chance to win it at Fenway Park. The Patriots were right, never have that chance with the Super Bowl in Foxborough, although it was in New York a couple years ago. You never know. But it would be very difficult to do. So now it's a chance for you to come back and share it with your fans, the people who supported you so well for so long and who love the Patriots so much. And it's amazing the outpouring of affection you get from these people, how many people are out here. And it's unbelievable to be in a boat looking out and seeing the masses. You're just in awe the entire time.
And these fans are so excited. I mean, we've seen first what was snowballs, now toilet paper being thrown back and forth. In fact, there was a guy that walked by just in a green shirt and the whole crowd booed him. He didn't have a Seahawks shirt on. He just was wearing a green shirt.
Just the wrong colors.
Just the wrong colors will get you booed around here. So obviously we're going to have everything for you from the finish line. And Adam, I know you guys are taking care of everything else, but yeah, it has just become an absolute madhouse here at Center Plaza. And they're here. They're ready. They're ready to celebrate their team. And obviously I think Tom Brady.
And there's more coming. I mean, they are literally flowing off the subways right now and into this area. I don't know. It's going to get much larger here, no doubt.
Until then, I'm just going to be Don's publicist. He's got so many requests for pictures and bro dates. A lot of bromance out here, Don. You got a lot of man fans out here that really want a piece of you.
All good people. All good people.
They really are. They love them some Don. So we're gonna send it back to you guys in the NESN Television Center. But we've got everything else on this end.
We all work for Don Orsillo. There is no doubt about that. Don
sure
is the
do.
man. But you,
Worship
not
at the
too.
altar.
Yeah, you're not too shabby either, El Duncan. We'll check back in with you guys a little bit later. And it's funny, it's looking at those crowds right now. I guess I shouldn't have doubted the fans' dedication because we've had 8 of these rolling rallies this century, and each and every time it surprises me to see the number of people that are out there, and you can see they are lining up 3, 4, 5, 6 deep at this point. I do want to remind you that you can call us 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. Use the hashtag Parade Day on Twitter or Instagram, and we'll show your videos and pictures of today's celebration. We have cameras at City Hall, as you just saw with Don Orsillo and El Duncan. Our own Matt Chatham and Jermaine Wiggins, former Patriots and Super Bowl champions. Chatham's got 3. He's done this before. Jermaine Wiggins was on the first team that won a Super Bowl here in New England. We have a camera on the duck boat as well, which would be pretty interesting once this thing gets going. You can see the buses right now are lined up, and I would expect they're loading up. And this parade, this rolling rally, was expected to start at 11 a.m. and they're running a little bit late, and that's to be expected if you were out on the roads at any point today or over the past couple of days. It is slow going out there. Joined by the Boston Globe's Shalise Manzi-Young. We're talking about the Patriots season. We're talking about the Patriots future. But I do want to talk about Rob Gronkowski this season. All right, so Rob Gronkowski has not been healthy the past couple of years. There was some uncertainty going into the year whether or not he's going to sustain because of the injuries he's had over the years. But he played all 15 games that he was in because he did not play in the last game of the season. 12 touchdowns, over 1,100 yards, 82 catches. And he was healthy in the postseason, and that was a huge difference.
It was a huge difference. It really was. That's what the Patriots were missing. Even if you go back to the Super Bowl 46, when the last time they faced the Giants in Indianapolis, we all remember Rob Gronkowski. He was out there, but he was just a shell of himself. His ankle ligaments were just shredded, and he was out there mostly as a decoy. So huge asset for the Patriots. He didn't have a big number game against the Seahawks on Sunday night, but just his mere presence makes such a big difference for the Patriots offense.
Yeah, not only in the air, but on the ground as well. And just Gronk, just a matchup nightmare for linebackers and secondary alike. We do want to continue to take your calls right now, 866-ASK-NESN. We have Bruce on the phone right now. Bruce, where are you calling from? We have Bruce on the phone.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Live or are we live?
Yes, we are. We have a, you have a question.
Yeah, good. I'm calling from sunny Kissimmee, Florida.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, lifetime Boston sports fan. I'm watching it on NESN right now. The only area that I would think the Patriots might want to address, and I think it was obvious all year long, was a true lack of a real good pass rush. And I think it really showed up in the Super Bowl. If Tom Brady had half the time that Russell Wilson had in the pocket, I think we would have blown him out early in the game. I was wondering what Patriots might be thinking in that line of fortifying their pass rush.
Well, I think one of the things they could do to help that would be to re-sign Akeem Ayers. He's one of we talked earlier about some of the free agents. They traded for Akeem Ayers. He is on the last year of his rookie contract. You know, it was interesting, once Chandler Jones came back from his hip injury, you really saw Akeem Ayers' snaps dip, and I was surprised by that. I think part of the problem the Patriots have had the last couple of years is that they play Rob Ninkovich and Chandler Jones so much that by the end of the season and by the postseason, they're just tired. Yeah, they're gassed. And, you know, Chandler probably didn't really have that issue this year because he did miss 5 or 6 games with that hip injury. But I was surprised we didn't see more of a rotation and bringing in Akeem Ayers maybe more in a specialist role. The other thing I think specific to Sunday and playing against Russell Wilson is they typically don't really blitz and go hard after quarterbacks like that.
They hold the edge.
Correct. Their pass rushers and their edge guys are taught to be really disciplined, and they wanted to keep Russell Wilson contained and not let him break pocket. And you did see that a couple of times, but I think that was a specific situation because Russell Wilson is so mobile. You don't want to bring the house and then he can escape it, and it, you know, maybe a sack, what looks like a near sack, ends up being a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, and you saw that this year. That's how the Patriots handle mobile quarterbacks, as you mentioned. You saw that with Aaron Rodgers this year. That
Andrew Luck, they've done well against him.
Absolutely. We do want to continue to take your phone calls. You can see the number right there, 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. But we do want to send it out right now to City Hall, which is the finish line of this rolling rally. L. Duncan, you got some signage out there.
Yes, I had to show this sign. Paul from South Boston, he's got the Joe Montana wants to be Tom Brady this Halloween. You love it. That, of course, is an ode back to the Facebook post from Tom Brady last week where he was saying he was getting ready for this forever. And then I have to comment on Leah's sign, too, because, Don, what are the chances that before the Super Bowl started that you would think that you'd see Gronk, Brady, and Butler on the same sign? I mean, talk about how this kid just came out of nowhere. It'd be like Xander Bogaerts getting his first hit, and it was like the World Series clinching home run, right?
It is incredible. I mean, it's amazing, and just to have it happen to him is special. And, you know, you hear Tom Brady say he's been doing it to him all year in practice. It's been incredible. So,
exactly.
I mean, it wasn't a surprise to Brady.
That's exactly what Brandon Browner said. He said this guy picks everybody off, and obviously lots of signs. How many rings does Brady have? Sherman with the 4. You got to love it. This crowd is so excited, and they are coming in droves. I mean, just as soon as you think it couldn't get more packed, about 100 more people just start strolling in. So we're here at the finish line. We're ready. They just got to make it here, Adam. We're here at Center Plaza.
Yeah, I think they're getting closer and closer to doing just that, and I love that meme right there, Richard Sherman. How many rings does Tom Brady have? 4. And you know, the other thing that was pretty funny, too, was Malcolm Butler, of course, made the play in the end zone, Shalise. But Darius Butler, who is a former Patriots secondary member, was getting the tweets from people saying, thank you so much. I thought that was really funny because people thought, oh, wait a minute, people don't know Malcolm Butler well enough to know that he's not Darius Butler.
Right, and, you know, I'm sure Darius Butler appreciated the love because he didn't get a lot of it while he was here. Had some struggles led to him being released, so I'm sure he takes the love. And also Malcolm Butler's Twitter handle, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's not just like Malcolm Butler 21. Yeah. It's something very odd, so you have to know who you're looking for to find him.
Yeah, it was like Jonas Gray had to update his Twitter account too when he, had over 200 rushing yards in a game against the Colts. So these guys have to learn. You got to update your Twitter account when you reach the status that you reach. Okay, well, our live coverage of the Patriots rolling rally continues right here on NESN. We want to take your calls, 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376 as our live coverage continues.
And I'm just really happy for him.
Have you seen Gronk on Kimmel Live and sleeping on the airport floor? And just your thoughts on how Gronk handles the Gronk life?
I mean, I think if anybody had to predict, who would have the best.
NESN's live coverage of the Patriots Super Bowl victory parade continues right now. We have you covered from start to finish. There's the start right there, right at the top of your screen, Boylston Street, and you can see in the bottom left, those are the Patriots buses. They are getting set to board those duck boats and get this rolling rally underway, which starts at the Prudential Center, and then on the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner, you can see that is City Hall Plaza. You can see all the fans that have poured in right now, getting ready for the Patriots to arrive. City Hall Plaza is the finish line of this rolling rally. We want to continue to take your calls as well. 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. Now, the Patriots left Gillette Stadium at around 10 o'clock this morning, but before they got on the buses, fullback James Devlin met with the media.
It's really cool, man. I mean, it's historical, I mean, something that's going to go down in history, and, something that no one's ever going to be able to take from us is that we're Super Bowl champions, and, we did it, and it's really cool to kind of have your name be a part of that.
James, did you get a chance to talk to Malcolm after that game play?
Not personally, no. I mean, I'm just really happy for the guy. I mean, he fights for everything he's got, and it's an incredible story. Coming from a Division II school, and being a tryout guy here, and now making the biggest play of the season, and I'm just incredibly proud of him, and I'm very, very happy for him, and he's I'm sure he's going to be all over the news and all that stuff, but he deserves it.
He seems so overwhelmed, so humble about the whole thing and his response. Is that the kind of guy he is?
That's definitely the guy he is. I mean, that's kind of the Patriot way. Is it took a team effort, and Malcolm stepped up in a big way, in a big time moment, and but I think he's aware that it took the whole team to get us there, and I'm just really happy for him.
Have you seen Gronk on Kimmel Live and sleeping on the airport floor? And just your thoughts on how Gronk handles the Gronk life?
I mean, I think if anybody had to predict, who would have the best time with this Super Bowl win, I think it'd be Gronk. The guy's just incredible. He's one of a kind, and man, he's a fun guy to be around, especially at a moment like this.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, Gronk's a pretty fun guy to be around. There's no doubt about that. He had a good time after the Super Bowl victory, and why not? We want to continue to take your calls right now, 866-ASK-NESN. And we have a call for Shalise Manziano of the Boston Globe, who's joining us right now. Juan Carlos from Connecticut. You have a question for Shalise?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Just wondering, with the 2015 offseason, they have about 13 free agents, a lot of key players such as Sean McCourty, Ridley, Vereen, and then they have other options with Mandola, Mayo, and Revis and Solder. Do you think this team will be able to bring some of these players back so they can possibly have a chance to repeat for the following season?
I do think, we've talked about Darrelle Revis. I don't have a great read right now on what is exactly going to happen with Darrelle Revis. I think if the Patriots allow him to hit free agency. I'm sure there are plenty of teams who will pay him a great deal of money. If they opt not to pick up that $20 million option on him for next year, they have until the day before free agency starts, I believe, to make that decision. Devin McCourty, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think, unfortunately for Devin, he will be on the franchise tag for 2015. And in terms of other players, I think it's just a matter of, Solder, they might renegotiate his deal to keep him around longer and extend it, maybe take down his salary cap number for 2015 right now is over $7 million. So I think it's certainly possible, but it's difficult.
We were talking earlier, too, about Gerard Mayo's injury and, how that really, it affected the Patriots, but with the naked eye, it really didn't because of the emergence of Dante Hightower. And right now we want to take a call from Jim, who's calling us from Everett in regards to Dante Hightower. Hey, Jim.
I just want to ask you guys, have you ever seen a player go from being as bad from one year as Hightower was to as good as he was this year? Because a year ago, he wasn't making that tackle on Marshawn Lynch at the 1-yard line.
Well, I think that speaks a great deal to the confidence that Dante has now, Jim. I don't think he was bad for all of last year, but he has been very candid about when Gerard Mayo first went down last year. That was only 6 games into Dante's second season in the NFL, and he was, charged with basically being the signal caller for the defense. He was still trying to figure out things for himself, and all of a sudden he was thrust into this role, and he felt like he had to be Gerard Mayo 2.0. And it took him a month or so to figure out that he just needed to be the best version of himself, and that the Patriots, that's what they needed from him. And I actually got to talk to his mother the day before the Super Bowl, and she told him to just be yourself. And I think you saw that toward the end of last season, and you certainly saw it this season with the tremendous amount of leadership and play that he showed this year.
And just settling in. Dante Hightower is still a young guy, as are a lot of these Patriots players. In fact, the average age of this team is 25, and it's the youngest average age of any team to win a Super Bowl. Is that right?
I think, yeah I've seen differing numbers on that, but yeah, it's definitely.
And it's surprising with Tom Brady, right? 37 years old.
And even, Vince Wilfork's over 30 now, too, so that skews things a little bit.
Absolutely. We want to take another phone call right now. Bill calling from, is it Houston, Texas? Is that correct? Hello, Bill.
Hello.
Are you calling from Houston, Texas?
Yes.
Excellent. We love it. You have a question for Shalise?
I'm originally from Holyoke, Mass, but I've been living in Houston for a long time.
Very nice.
Hey, guys, I just wanted to ask you, I don't know if it feels the same to you, but this win is just like the win by the Red Sox over the Yankees. It exercises so many freaking demons, from the Manningham to Tyree to Manning. It's just like Bucky Dent. Bucky Dent is a non-issue anymore because of 04. And those guys are non-issues anymore because of this win. It's unfreaking believable, the feeling to get rid of all that bad stuff.
Not a lot of talk about David Tyree and Mario Manningham this week, Shalise.
No, not, although if Darius Butler doesn't step up on that last play, it would have been Jermaine Kearse would have been on that list. I'm sorry.
See, you did it too. See, it's easy to do, isn't it?
It is, definitely. But if Malcolm Butler doesn't step up, then it would have been Jermaine Kearse would have joined that list of receivers who make incredible catches against the Patriots. But yes, I've seen that from a lot of Patriots fans. I actually flew home with a bunch of Patriots fans last night from Phoenix. And people just so elated and so relieved. And another thing, hopefully it expunges, although I don't know with this Deflategate thing, unfortunately, still hanging around. Hopefully it just sort of exercises the Spygate demons as well, because, that's the one thing that Patriots, anti-Patriots people have said over the last several years is that, well, they've been to 2 Super Bowls, but they haven't won a Super Bowl since Spygate. So, this Deflategate thing, completely overblown, in my opinion.
In a lot of people's opinion.
In a lot of people's. I think
sure.
In the end, the Patriots will be exonerated in that situation. So hopefully, nobody wants to put an asterisk. There's nothing that they were the best team in the NFL this year.
I have not heard anybody, and even though people are questioning the Patriots' guilt or innocence here, I haven't heard anybody say it affected the outcome of the AFC Championship game.
And that's why it's makes it even more silly, you know, that situation with where the football's underinflated or whatever. And now, of course, there's a report out there that only one was significantly underinflated and others were just a few ticks, which really would support the Patriots' assertion that it was the weather. If they went into the game just at that 12.5 minimum over the course of a game, it could go down a couple of ticks of PSI. But, you know, Patriots fans, people who aren't Patriots fans love to hate the Patriots. They love to hate Bill Belichick, and, you know,
yeah,
they'll find fault anywhere.
And the footballs were inflated in the Super Bowl, so that was even Steven there. We want to take another phone call right now. We have Mike in Vermont. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Great. How are you?
My question, I'm doing fine. I'm great. The Patriots won the Super Bowl. My question to you is, after that catch and Seattle had it, you know, with over a minute left, and they gave it to Marshawn Lynch on first down. Are you shocked on second down that they threw a pass?
Yeah, I think everybody is. I think everybody is, given that it was Marshawn Lynch. But when you look at the statistics, you know, that came out, that was the first time this year that somebody attempted a pass from the 1-yard line and it was picked off. So the statistics really were in the Seahawks' favor that at minimum they were just going to throw that ball away, or it was just going to be an incomplete pass. And then they would have, you know, probably run it on 3rd and 4th down, something like that. At least that's what Pete Carroll said they were going to do. I think he definitely was taking the bullet for his offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevell, in that situation. And then Bevell, of course, threw Ricardo Lockett under the bus and said he could have fought harder for the ball. But, you know, it's that play. Should you have maybe tried a different pass? Absolutely. I think you could have had Russell Wilson maybe bootleg, because you're talking about such a mobile quarterback. So why not have him bootleg and find a guy, you know, more toward the sidelines instead of right in the middle of the traffic?
Oh, there's so much second guessing that's being done over this play, and rightfully so. I mean, people watch the NFC Championship game and they watch the read option. They watch Russell Wilson run to the end zone and give the Seattle Seahawks the lead. And then you're right. I mean, if you throw a different sort of pass there, it cuts out the margin of error. I mean, you're talking about a quick slant where, you know, Vince Wilfork could have easily got his hand up.
Right.
You know, you do certainly wonder about that. But the good thing is that if you're a Patriots fan, you don't have to worry about it. So that's all good. And the Patriots winning their 4th Super Bowl title. We want to take more phone calls right now. Marlene in Connecticut. Hey, Marlene.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. This is Marlene Georgia from Roxbury, Connecticut, and the Kennedy family from Massachusetts. We just want to say, should I talk now?
Yes.
Oh. We just want to say that we're very excited about you bringing us the parade. We're part of it, and we want to know what plans they have for Malcolm Butler next year.
Well, Malcolm.
When's the statue going, actually? That's what Marlene wants to know.
Well, I don't know if he's getting a statue, but I'm sure for as long as he is a Patriot, he will not buy another drink or another meal anywhere in the state of Massachusetts, or whenever he's out and about, if he comes across a Patriots fan. You know, Malcolm, I'm sure he's not going anywhere. He certainly impressed the Patriots. I think just the fact that he was able to successfully make the leap from a Division II college to make the 53-man roster out of his first training camp, I don't think people quite understand how big of a leap that is. I think it might be almost from going from like single A in baseball all the way up to the major leagues just in a very short amount of time. So he, you know, as Tom Brady has said, as his teammates have said, he doesn't get fazed by moments. And this probably is just going to give him even more confidence. You know, you saw Malcolm Butler you saw Alfonso Dennard at one point get benched as a healthy scratch because Malcolm Butler was playing well, and because Malcolm Butler also plays special teams, which Alfonso Dennard doesn't. But certainly, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And like I said, I'm sure he's going to have lots of free meals for the rest of his young life. And hopefully he's getting a truck, too, from Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady going to try to make that happen. Hopefully he does. And I'd be interested to see the Wikipedia statistics on Malcolm Butler.
And his Twitter followers.
And his Twitter followers and his Instagram followers. I'm sure they all shot up, and rightfully so. Let's take a look at what we have going on here. We have you covered throughout the parade route. And the top of your screen right now, that's the garage at the Prudential Center. Those are the duck boats, the Patriots players, Patriots staff getting on those duck boats. And it looks like they're ready to head out momentarily, so we will keep tabs on that as well. You can see the aerial shots of the city of Boston, and on the right, the lower right-hand corner, City Hall, the finish line. A lot of people there right now, El Duncan.
Well, besides the fact that I now have 16 new nicknames for Don Orsillo, Donnie Blue Eyes, Donnie Don the Man, they're very excited to see Don Orsillo out here. A lot's going on, really, Don. I mean, like we've said, when we first got here at about 9:30, there was maybe 200 people out here.
Yeah, it's really picked up dramatically. You know, they're very excited. There's no doubt about that. But they keep adding on. They're coming up behind where we are as well. They're coming up from the tee right now, and they're very ready for this thing to get going. And a lot of fans, especially the ones that are in front, were here when we got here, somewhere around 9:15. They've been here a little bit a while, but the people are now arriving, and I wonder how many of them will move here from other spots in the parade as well. You know, one thing you didn't notice, Al, and a tribute to Robert Kraft today, I'm wearing a Robert Kraft shirt. I don't have his sneakers on, but I do have the Robert Kraft shirt on.
The Robert Kraft collection.
Yeah,
I like it.
Nice.
How do Patriots fans kind of compare to Red Sox fans when it comes to the parade? Are they just as crazy?
I think so. You know, based on what I've seen here so far, this looks about what it normally is like. You know, and as I said earlier, this has been such a special area between the Celtics, the Bruins, the Red Sox, and the Patriots. I mean, it's just been incredible that we've been blessed with so many of these gatherings over the years here in Boston. It never will get old. It'll never get routine, but it's always this much fun.
And I love what Don said a little bit earlier, which is that when it comes to football, look, there's not going to be a Super Bowl at Gillette ever, so fans aren't really going to have that opportunity like they did with the Red Sox to celebrate right there in the moment with their team. And I think some of the pent-up frustration is what you're seeing in some of these fans. Lots of signs directed at Richard Sherman and the Seahawks. The snow is starting to fall. The snowballs are falling. We don't have the heart to tell the fans out here that the parade hasn't even started yet because they are on a trillion right now.
Yeah, we'll probably hold that back.
Yeah,
from them.
we just won't tell them that. But they're ready here. They're definitely ready to see their team. Brady chants. We had a car just drive through that had nothing to do with anything, and they cheered. I think maybe they thought that was the parade coming. It was just an event rental truck.
It doesn't take much to get a cheer out of these people. Anybody that drives by right now, and they've got it blocked off, so just pretty much police vehicles, the only thing coming through, along with a little bit of snow right now, as you mentioned.
Gotta love it. So, Adam, me and Donnie Blue Eyes, we're going to have everything from the finish line here covered. And, yeah, I'm just going to stand here and listen to people yell at Don. It's actually pretty exciting.
All right, guys. Well, we'll check in with you a little bit later. And you can see the pictures right now. This rolling rally is getting underway. We saw the images of Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia with the Vince Lombardi trophy. At long last, the Patriots rolling rally has begun, and we have live coverage right here on NESN. NESN's live coverage of the Patriots' rolling rally to celebrate their 4th Super Bowl title is just getting underway. You can see in the top left, that's Jonathan Kraft holding the Vince Lombardi trophy as the duck boats roll out on the streets of Boston, heading out at the Prudential Center, rolling down Boylston Street, ultimately ending up at City Hall Plaza. We have you covered every step of the way. Our own Don Orsillo and Elle Duncan at the finish line at City Hall Plaza. You can see the fans behind them. Things are starting to get rowdy. And then you can see on the right, there's Robert Kraft, the Patriots owner. Another angle for you on the duck boat as we have you covered for the Patriots rolling rally. Former Patriots linebacker Matt Chatham will be joining us as well. Former Patriots tight end Jermaine Wiggins, all a part of our coverage. We want to take your calls as well, 866-ASK-NESN. We'll be taking your calls throughout the morning, throughout the rolling rally. But for right now, we want to send it to Don Orsillo and Elle Duncan. Hey, guys.
Hi, Adam. We are here at what's going to be the finish line at 2 Central Plaza down here by City Hall East. And yeah, fans are ready. They're excited. They are continuing to come. Just when you think there's not another space to put another fan, 50 more show up.
Yeah, and the snow is a factor here, too, because there are snowbanks down here, so fans are trying to stay off the snowbanks as requested, and they're doing a good job of that. They're just kind of backed up a little bit far away. But again, the duck boats are elevated, so they'll have a chance to see their favorite Patriots come by. Also, we should mention the buses just went by, the charter buses that came from Foxborough to bring the players, their families, and everybody that's going to be on the duck boats, former Patriots. They just came through here. All the buses did, about 7, 8 buses. So they'll be at the end of this street here, outside here, Cambridge Street, and they'll be, as the players end here, getting on those buses and heading back to Foxborough. So the crowd cheered the buses, even though nobody was on them. They were cheering
buses,
them.
And they acted like it was Tom Brady himself coming through. I got to ask you, Don, because you know you're a guy that's from here and from around here, and so many of these parades with all of your sports over the last 15, 16 years. I mean, it's been a great 2000s for Boston sports fans. I mean, I guess in my mind, maybe I'm a little surprised because to me, winning a championship seems status quo. You know, to this city, are you not surprised at the turnout at all?
Yeah, I am surprised, and I think really more so because it's during the week. You're talking about a midweek situation with the snow and everything that's gone on here the last couple of days. A lot of kids being out of school Monday and Tuesday. Here we are now, and so many kids are here today. So I thought maybe the crowd would be a little bit less than what we're used to, but from what we're seeing here at City Hall, it's not less. This is what it normally is.
Absolutely, and it's cute. You see a couple of like the younger people with signs saying, you know, this is my very first Super Bowl parade, because you think about it, and yes, although they came in bunches at the beginning of Tom Brady's career, it has been 10 years since the city had a Super Bowl championship. So needless to say, they're excited. They're cheering right now over literally nothing. I mean, someone can just yell, "Brady, you're awesome!" and then the whole crowd just goes absolutely mad.
That's enough to get it done, no doubt about it.
That's all it takes. Or someone walking by in green, and then they will get booed. So obviously, we'll have everything for you when the guys do eventually make their way here to Center Plaza. But for now, we're going to send it back to Adam Pellerin, back in the studio.
Elle, I want to, now let's experiment. You said you can yell Brady is awesome and people will go nuts. Do it. Let's see what happens.
Okay, all right. Hey, guys, Tom Brady!
Work like a charm.
I knew it would work. I told you. I know. I believe you. I believe you. This has been fantastic.
That was impressive.
All right, well, you can see the crowd right there at City Hall Plaza. They are ready for the Patriots, and they are ready for the rolling rally, which is just about to get underway. We also want to take your calls, 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. And we want to go out to the West Coast, L.A. We have Sarah on the phone. Hey, Sarah.
Hi there. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Sarah.
You have a question?
So yes. Question was about half an hour ago if I should take my daughter to school, and I just had to not put a jinx on next year, so I did go ahead and take her to school. We'll catch the parade again next year or on NESN later today. But now my second question. How do we keep our kids from getting spoiled if we're winning something every couple of years in New England teams?
I would say point them in the direction of maybe Cleveland Browns fans and say this is the alternative. You know, the Cleveland Browns certainly, you know, never even been to a Super Bowl, not even sniffed a Super Bowl, and now their alleged future franchise quarterback, not to belittle it, but
Yes.
he's having some issues, and their star wide receiver is suspended for the year. So it can always be worse. Just tell them, appreciate it. It is, I think, if you're a Patriots fan, an embarrassment of riches. Since 2001 is certainly tremendous, and there are definitely worse teams to follow. You could be a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, and nobody cares.
Jacksonville.
Nobody cares. They put in a pool.
They
They
did.
have like a really neat mascot, and nobody cares.
Yeah, they're giving away tickets down there, from what I understand. So if you want to catch a game, you're in the Florida area on a Sunday, you can walk right in. I want to take your calls. 866 Ask NESN. We have Chuck right now in Uxbridge. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I got a question. I was watching Pro Football Weekly the other night with Mike Florio, and this story really bugged the crap out of me. He was bringing up the story how Atlanta Falcons were found at fault for piping crowd noise, into the indoor stadium. And Mike Florio just spends 2 seconds. He just kind of like announces the story and just kind of brushes it aside and goes to the next story. But the 2 weeks leading up to the Patriots Super Bowl, we had to endure all the criticism, national criticism, saying Patriots are cheaters, the Patriots are this and that, and Spygate. And no one in the country knows about this big cheating rule about pumping noise into the stadium. It just blows my mind that no one's talking about it or jumping on this.
Yeah, I think certainly, and I had this discussion with some people on Twitter yesterday. Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, he has come out, and it sounded like he admitted to it, which I guess people give him the benefit of the doubt. And then, like we just said, the Atlanta Falcons, another team that nobody really cares about. Unfortunately for them, they did have some success a couple of years ago, made it to the NFC Championship game, but this year really fell on hard times, didn't do that well. They struggled to get, fans in that arena, and they're building a new one, which is odd. But, I think, unfortunately, part of it is that the Falcons aren't that good, or they weren't that good this past season. And also, as I've said a bunch of times over the last couple of weeks, if Bill Belichick is involved and people even think there's a hint of impropriety, they're going to jump all over it. And I think that is unfortunate. But that's the reality of NFL life right now. I think for fans, even if you're a fan of another team, you just don't like the Patriots. And that's pretty much how it was last week in Phoenix. It seemed like everybody who wasn't an ardent Patriots fan was rooting for the Seahawks just because they're not the Patriots.
We're looking live right now at the Patriots Duck Boat rolling rally throughout the city of Boston. Head coach Bill Belichick, along with defensive coordinator Matt Patricia, on that particular float as the duck boats continue to roll by and the fans line up. You can see we have you covered from start to finish. We have our own Matt Chatham and Jermaine Wiggins on one of the duck boats. Chatham's been on 3 of these rides before. Wiggy, of course, was on the first one back in 2002, as we look at Darrelle Revis as well in the top left-hand corner. And now a full screen, Darrelle Revis. Big reason why the Patriots are able to bring home their 4th Super Bowl title.
And that's why he came here.
That is why he came here.
This is why he came here, was for this moment. He has waited his whole career to be on a Super Bowl champion, and this is why he signed with the Patriots.
And a lot of people wondering if he will be with the Patriots in 2015. That's a decision for another day, as the fans show their appreciation to what Darrelle Revis and this Patriots defense and this Patriots team was able to do. We want to take another call right now. Mark is calling in from Seekonk. Hey, Mark.
How you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm fantastic. Now that that game's over and we pulled it off with Malcolm Butler. when Chris caught that football down on the 5-yard line, I fell out of my chair and went crazy.
And a lot of people, and we were talking about this earlier, shades of David Tyree, shades of Mario Manningham, and that shot of Brady on the sidelines just saying, oh no, here we go again. But it's almost like the football gods looked at that and said, all right, enough is enough. All right, the Patriots have had to go through this twice. Let's give one back to them as we look at Tom Brady.
Tom Brady there with his 4-year-old son, Benjamin.
Okay, there you are.
Members of the offensive line right there. Of course, Julian Edelman alongside Brian Timms.
Wonder when Edelman's going to shave that beard. He said it. I think he said it was a playoff beard, so might be coming off soon.
A lot of the Red Sox players kept theirs, so we'll see what happens in the offseason with these guys.
Brandon LaFell, Danny Amendola.
Danny Amendola, you know, a guy that obviously has received a lot of negative publicity over the past couple of seasons, but in the playoffs was just outstanding, a huge part of what the Patriots were able to do.
He really was. And it was good to see. I didn't hear anything about him being a disruption behind the scenes. Just put his head down and worked hard, and that's how he got to this point to be signed by the Patriots a couple of years ago. And as you said, big contributor over the final month of the season.
And he did his job, as the Patriots motto was. And we want to go now to Marcia, who's calling us from Florida. Hey, Marcia.
Yes. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm watching the parade. I can get NESN down here.
We love it.
Oh, yes. I'm originally, I just spent my winter down here. I'm from Massachusetts.
So, Marcia, do you have a question, or are you just enjoying the parade?
Oh, no. Yes, my question was, I've heard the comment that the Patriots did not win the Super Bowl. They were given the Super Bowl win. So I was wondering how you feel about that comment.
Well, I speak for Shalise. I think we disagree with that, especially the fact that, you know, nobody gave the Patriots 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
No, absolutely not. You know, I wrote something similar, that the Seahawks defense, and very good defense, obviously, but they had not given up more than 7 points in the fourth quarter of any game since week 5 of the regular season this year. They had 10 points in they gave up 10 points in their loss to Dallas. So the Patriots offense to score 14 points on that defense. The Patriots defense over the last, I believe dating back to the Detroit game, had only given up 12 fourth quarter points, including the playoffs. So tremendous work from both sides of the ball for the Patriots to step up offensively when it was needed most, and for the defense to really tamp down when it was needed most.
866 Ask NESN, 866-275-6376, as we take a look at Rob Gronkowski.
That looks like a homemade Minion hat that Rob Gronkowski has on there.
I was going to defer to you because I recognized the hat. I wasn't sure. But, yeah, and that's James
a Minion.
Devlin. James Devlin, who we heard from earlier. We want to take your calls right now. Dick is calling us from Rhode Island. Hey, Dick. Hello, Dick.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
You're live on the air.
Oh, well, again, I'm making a comment about the National Football League. First of all, I think that the officials in the league itself should be in charge of taking care of footballs completely. And more importantly, there was little said about the football that was caught and intercepted by the Dallas Cowboys, which cost them that game because of a ruling that he did not complete the catch. When from what I could see on TV, that was clearly an interception falling into the end zone for a winning touchdown. So all they talk about is deflated footballs and noise in the Atlanta Stadium, which I think that's all the National Football League and their officials' duties to take care of that.
And you're correct. And I think certainly you mentioned the Des Bryant reception that was not a reception, as the officials called it. That will probably be evaluated with the Combine upcoming later this month. The NFL Competition Committee meets at the Combine, and they will discuss rule changes that they want to bring before the owners during the spring owners meeting, which will happen in March, actually back in Arizona as it happens this year. So those things will definitely be on the table. I would be surprised if there isn't some sort of change to what happens with the footballs during the regular season. As we know, on the day of the Super Bowl, the footballs that were used in the game never left the possession of officials. They were never in the team's possession outside of when, actually, no, they were never in the officials, in the team's hands. So you could see changes to how the chain of command, or just what happens with the footballs for regular season games and the postseason games that aren't the Super Bowl. And as I said, the reception, non-reception, what exactly constitutes a catch, there's too much minutia in there. And actually, Troy Vincent, who is the vice president of the league, he acknowledged last week in Arizona that the NFL really needs to take a look at its rule book and streamline it, because it is just too bulky. There's too much in there. How long it takes before we see actual change, we don't know, but hopefully it is something that they are really going to look at and take so many of these funky things out of the game, so that it can be played and there's maybe a little bit taken out of the officials' hands, or just not so much gray area for them to have to deal with.
Yeah, and if you ask our own Matt Chatham, we all know how he feels about the NFL rulebook. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And you can see, there's a shot from the duck boat right now, and aerials. You can see this rolling rally is well underway, and it is interesting, Shalise, just talking about Deflategate and how much of a sideshow that it was, and you wondered how much of a distraction that would be for this Patriots team. And it seems, there's the thought that the Patriots would sort of use this as motivation and bring it into Super Bowl 49, and that would be the motivating factor, and they want to prove everybody wrong. It just seemed to me that they just completely shut it all out and didn't use it as motivation. They didn't need it. They just completely, they did their job.
I think if there was any way that they used it as motivation, not that you should need more motivation at the Super Bowl, but I think if there was any way they used it, it was just to have an us against the world mentality. And, as I said earlier, really, it just seemed like unless you were written in stone Patriots fans, hardcore Patriots fan, everybody else who follows the NFL was against the Patriots, rooting for the Seahawks to win that game, just because the Patriots are so disliked by other fans around the league, and everybody likes to point out everything that they do. So certainly I think if there was any way that it helped them, it was that they were able to foster an us against the world feeling, especially when your own owner, Robert Kraft, came out like he did. As soon as they landed in Arizona, Robert Kraft, such a supporter, staunch supporter historically of Roger Goodell, and for him to come out the way he did, show so much support for his coach and his quarterback, and demand that they be apologized to if it turns out that this deflated ball situation is really just much ado about nothing. I think that really just brought everyone together and galvanized the Patriots from ownership on down.
Certainly did. Statement from Robert Kraft, no doubt about that. We want to continue to take your phone calls right now. Rick calling from Arizona. Hey, Rick. Hey, Rick, from Arizona. Yes. How are you? Did you go to the game?
What was that?
Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't. I wish I could have.
Yeah, I bet. You have a question?
Well, I would like to give a shout out to the organization and Mr. Kraft. Obviously, I live in Arizona, originally from East Boston. And you take the kid out of East Boston, and you'll never take the Boston out of the kid. I had a lot of fans out here from Seattle. Obviously, we're a snowbird state, and I don't see any more today. So,
yeah, I think they got out of Dodge pretty quickly, Rick.
What was that?
I think they got out of Dodge pretty quickly after that game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mr. Kraft was great because the last Super Bowl, he came to the Patriots fan club that we have down here, and owners just don't do that kind of stuff. Him and his son and Andre Tippett, and they signed my shirt and everything. It was pretty cool. This time, they sent the cheerleaders to our organization, so I want to give a shout-out to them.
Well, thank you very much, Rick, for calling. As you can see, the rolling rally continues, and the duck boat just crossing the Boston Marathon finish line at Copley Square en route to City Hall Plaza, and that is where we find our own Don Orsillo and Elle Duncan. And Sherman wears yoga pants apparently from that sign right there. Elle, you seeing that?
Oh man, yeah. Sherman wears yoga pants. As soon as the crowd saw the camera, they just started going crazy. It doesn't take much down here, I got to tell you, Don.
This is growing in size. There's no doubt about it, Adam. I mean, it is. I know we keep saying it every time you come to us. It's getting bigger and bigger, but it is bigger and bigger, deeper, all the way back now to City Hall itself. So this is, I think, for the people who wondered how many people would be coming out, it's confirmed. This is your normal crowd right here.
Absolutely. They're yelling Matt Light. Former Patriot Matt Light is standing up on the riser next to us, and so they're yelling for him. One of my favorite signs so far, you mentioned Gronk a little bit earlier. You and Shalise were talking about Gronk. Rock out with your Gronk out. So there's
there
that.
You have it.
I'm sure Gronk would know what that means more than anybody. But, you know, Don, I saw a sign a little earlier from a kid. He said 13 years old, 9 championship parades, and then, of course, he had all the different logos from all the sports teams. Some might say Boston sports fans are spoiled. Others might say, look, the city loves and embraces their teams, and in turn, their teams produce.
You know what, too? I really don't feel like they're spoiled. You know, I think in so many other cities where you see championships, there is apathy at times, and it's almost like, let me know when the playoffs roll around. And I have never felt that way, whether it be the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics, or the Patriots. I mean, they're hungry for more championships. They can't have enough of these type celebrations, and the fact that they come out the way they come out now for a fourth here is pretty incredible, and then for as many as have happened in recent years. And as you mentioned, for kids who are 12 and 13 years old who have gone through this and had this many championships, the rest of us didn't have all that kind of success for a lot of years here, but now we do, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of it.
Exactly. Well, and most people from anywhere outside of Boston don't have that type of success through all 4 major sports. And so, of course, this team is also very anxious to see Tom Brady and the rest of the team. Every time someone hears a little bit of music, they think that's the parade coming, and they start cheering, and then they realize that it isn't. So, Adam, because we have absolutely no eyes or ears out here, you tell us, how far away are the guys? Can we tell the crowd that they're getting closer?
They're still making their way down Boylston Street right now in Copley Square, so they got a little ways to go. They still got to make their way down Boylston Street and to Tremont, so just tell them to hang tight, okay? You tell all those fans right there just to hang tight, but keep the energy up, okay?
That is not a problem whatsoever.
All right, we want to continue to take your calls right now on NESN, 866-ASK-NESN, 866-275-6376. We have Leanna joining us from Maine. Hey, Leanna.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. My husband and I just got in last night from out there in Phoenix, and I wanted to say it's the greatest Super Bowl I've ever seen.
What do you think, Shalise? The greatest Super Bowl you've ever seen? Where does it rank for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been in person for 7 of them now. Very lucky to do that, but absolutely, you know, I think Super Bowl 42, the last time they were back there, it was a memorable game, but it wasn't a great game. This one had everything. You know, the Patriots had a good lead. It seemed like they were in control in the first half. They got down by 10. They were able to come back. So just it really was a tremendous game, and I think a lot of people who are more objective observers even feel like it's definitely one of the top 2 or 3 Super Bowls ever.
Yeah, it was entertaining from start to finish. It had just about everything in this one. We mentioned we have you covered right here on NESN. We're also streaming this live right now on NESN.com, and Marvin is watching on NESN.com, and he's joining us from Israel on the phone right now. Hey, Marvin, what's up?
How are you guys?
How are you?
Top of the world, top of the world.
Marvin, so are you from New England?
Right, from Boston, from Brookline.
Excellent,
Originally from Brookline, living in Jerusalem now, and we stayed up Sunday night. It started at 1:30 in the morning and didn't finish till 5:30, and we watched every second of it and enjoyed it immensely.
That's fantastic.
Very special.
So how did you watch the game in Jerusalem?
Online. Everything online here. We can do everything online.
So a lot of Patriots fans in Jerusalem, Marvin?
They have Super Bowl parties here. What's wrong with you guys? We got lots of them, and Patriots fans all over the place.
Well, then you seem right at home, then.
Mr. Kraft comes here. He's got a stadium here. He built a small stadium here in Jerusalem for flag football named Kraft Stadium. And he brings, during the summertime, he comes with a couple of guys from the Patriots. Tom Brady has been here. Vince Wilfork has been here. They come.
Well, it's
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fantastic. What did you think of the game itself?
The game itself was redemption for Tyree. Definitely redemption for Tyree. When Kurtz caught the ball, I said, okay, now we need one great defensive play. That's all that's left. So anybody who says there isn't some kind of prophecy in Jerusalem doesn't know what they're talking about. We got the big defensive play. Malcolm Butler, tremendous.
Yeah,
and that was redemption for a loss that shouldn't have been.
Yep, no, I think a lot of people are feeling that way. And Marvin, we appreciate you watching from Israel on NESN.com. We want to go now to Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going all over the place right now. We have Charles calling from Sin City. Hey, Charles.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I just got to ask, do you think Tom Brady is now officially on the same level as Joe Montana?
Yeah, it's a question I asked you earlier, Shalise. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, I think so. I think because, you know, I know a lot of people point to the fact that, and obviously phenomenal accomplishment, that Joe Montana went to 4 Super Bowls, won 4 Super Bowls, and didn't throw a single interception in any of those Super Bowls. But I think the one thing that, you know, sort of sways things in Tom Brady's favor is just that this is a free agency era, and the Patriots have different constraints to work under than the 49ers did back when Joe Montana won. And as we talked about, you know, completely different teammates, different coaches that Tom Brady has to deal with now. Really, I think that I think it puts it right there. You know, I think that certainly Tom Brady has looked up to Joe Montana his whole life, and when you even try to put him in the same sentence as Joe Montana, he brushes it away. But for everybody outside of Tom Brady, I think we can say it for him that he's as good as Joe Montana.
Yeah, remember, Tom Brady's been to 6 Super Bowls. Joe Montana 4-0 in his Super Bowls, but Brady's been to 6 of them, and it seems like his career is far from over. We want to take another call right now. Who we have on the line?
Hey, how do you do, good sir? This is Christopher, man, calling in from Woburn. I can't really talk right now. I've been yelling so much on Sunday, but yeah, that's who I am.
All right. Well, do you have enough steam left to ask a question?
Oh, yes, sir. I got steam to ask 80 million questions, man. Stay up. Do this.
All right. How about just one for us? You got one?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. Fire away.
Yes, sir. I was wondering, Tom Brady has said that, you know, how is he able to keep going through the cycle, and he wants to play till he's 40. And he says his preparation is much different than when he was in his younger days. He doesn't stay out late, doesn't drink, this, that, and the third, whatever. I was wondering, has it come out, his dietary plan? Obviously, that's changed, I'm sure, as well, but has it slipped out or any information? What exactly is the dietary plan? And most of the point, is he a vegan at all? Because I know he's married to Giselle. She's a supermodel. She's heard it all. She probably knows all the tips. Because I'm a vegan, and it would be great to find out if he's vegan too, and it would really help spread the word on some positivity.
I don't think he's a vegan, Christopher, but I do know that Brady has, I don't even know what you would call him. He's like his guru and best friend, Alex Guerrero, who has a degree in Chinese medicine, and among other things, he really helps Brady with his workouts. He's his masseuse, that type of thing, and they discuss his diet as well. The Patriots do have an in-house nutritionist, and Ted has done a really good job of, at least when the Patriots are in the building, making sure that they're eating the things that are going to get optimum performance out of them. Tom Brady, there was an article in Sports Illustrated that came out last month. He really does watch what he eats. He does limit his alcohol intake. And a treat for Tom Brady, just to give you an idea, is avocado ice cream. I mean, that's not exactly appealing to me personally. I like ice cream with cream in it, but for Tom Brady, avocado ice cream is a treat. So he really does watch what he eats, and I think that, coupled with rules that are in place now to protect quarterbacks that weren't really there 10, 15, 20 years ago, and just his fanatical devotion to being the best, I do think he has a shot to make it at least until he's 40.
Yeah, keep eating avocado ice cream if it produces Super Bowl champions. Doesn't really matter what you eat as long as you keep producing Vince Lombardi trophies here in this town. It's just afternoon time as we continue our live coverage of the Patriots Super Bowl victory parade, a rolling rally through the streets of Boston as the Patriots take home their 4th Lombardi Trophy in the Bill Belichick and Tom Brady era. We want to continue to take your calls at 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. You can tweet us your pictures using the hashtag Parade Day, and we have you covered from start to finish. We have cameras all over the place, in the air, on the ground, and we also have Don Orsillo and El Duncan at City Hall Plaza. What's going on over there, guys?
Well, it's pretty much getting bigger and bigger by the second here, Adam, at the moment. Still waiting in anticipation for the first duck boat to make its way here. It looks like still got a ways to go before that happens. But there's no question this crowd is, they've moved to this position, and they are as deep as it gets all the way back to City Hall.
Absolutely. I'm guessing that maybe the warmth and excitement of 4 Super Bowl rings is keeping these young ladies warm because they don't have a jacket, which I find to be crazy. But they're see, all it takes is a camera in their face and they're ready to go. I love another sign, because we've seen lots of signs, is a guy walking around with a sign that says, "The New York Post can cheat these," and then he's got a picture of the 4 rings. Of course, the New York Post had how cheat it is on Monday after the Super Bowl in reference to Deflategate. But these fans, that's the farthest thing from their mind. I mean, you see a lot of signs that are just saying thank you. And you can tell, I think there's a sense of rallying behind this team even more because of all the adversity they faced this year.
There's no doubt, and it's pretty much us against them, pretty much thought process, I think, during the whole thing. I think that's a lot of the thought process perhaps the Patriots had, heading into all the adversity that they faced those 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a long time anyway to get ready for a football game, but to go with what the Patriots had to go through, and let's be honest, I think the rest of the country, as far as how they feel about the Patriots, is not all that positive. So it really is the Patriots against the world, and that's kind of the way it's worked out. And for New England fans, that's kind of the way it is. And the atmosphere here, the only way I can describe it is festive. I mean, this is a party. There's no doubt about it. And Bostonians can do one thing very well, and that's party.
That is a party, especially as it pertains to their sports teams. And you're right. No, the rest of the country may feel a certain type of way. But isn't that always how it is when you've got the team that's on top, when you've got a dynasty? A little earlier in the show, Adam, you and Shalise were talking about the Atlanta Falcons. And why isn't this a big deal? Because people don't care, because they don't win. When you win, you're going to have your haters and your detractors. But when push comes to shove, all that really matters is what the city thinks. And they are out here in droves. It's starting to snow. It's freezing cold. They've missed school, they've missed work, and they're still here just to say thank you and get a little glimpse of their team.
Yeah, El, there's no doubt about it. People in this city care. We've seen it over and over again, time and time again, with the Boston Red Sox, the 3 World Series championships, the New England Patriots now with 4 Super Bowl champions, championships, the Celtics, the Bruins. People come out, people show their support, and it's not just in the years that they win. They are there from start to finish every single season, win or lose, and that is what makes this city the best sports city in the world, in my opinion. And we continue to take your calls right now, 866-ASK-NESN. Kaylee's up in New Hampshire. Hey, Kaylee.
Do your job. Do your job.
Hey, Kaylee.
Do your job. Do your job.
Kaylee in New Hampshire going once? Going twice? All right, we'll try to get back to Kaylee in just a moment. 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. Kaylee, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hey, Kaylee, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic.
I'm calling in from Bedford, New Hampshire. I skipped school today so I could watch the parade. But I was wondering how long you think we'll be blessed with having Tom Brady on our team, because I've been watching the Patriots since I was young. Both my parents are from New England, and I was just wondering how long you think we'll be able to have him.
Well, I mean, if you ask Tom, he wants to play forever. I think I saw a quote from Tom Brady's dad that Tom wants to play until he's in his 70s, which obviously that is not possible. But his current contract runs until he's 40. It runs out in 2017. You know, unless there's like a huge drop-off over the next couple of years, I would say that he will go through that contract unless another team steps up and makes Bill Belichick some fantastic offer that he can't refuse. It is an interesting situation drafting Jimmy Garoppolo in the second round. His contract also goes through 2017. So it will be an interesting situation, but for Bill Belichick, he has no sentimentality for those things. If he does start to see a drop-off with Tom Brady, if he thinks that Jimmy Garoppolo can give you something somewhat comparable for less money, Bill Belichick may cut ties. I know that's blasphemy to say, but I can't imagine that Robert Kraft would allow that to happen. So.
Yeah, it's part of life in the NFL, but I think there was an overreaction when Bill Belichick was talking to the media about Tom Brady's age, when people were asking him about Jimmy Garoppolo, and people took that and ran with it as if Tom Brady was near the end. But as we can see, he's not anywhere close. And this 4th Super Bowl title is case in point. And again, you know, we saw Peyton Manning slow down at the end of the year. We don't see that with Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's 37 years old, and like we were talking about earlier, he keeps himself in great shape. He has a special diet, which includes avocado ice cream. So whatever works. We want to go to Bob in Rhode Island right now. Hey, Bob.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Very well. How can you not be happy on a day like today?
Totally agree.
Absolutely.
So you have a question?
Yes, I do. I have 2 questions. One, I want to know what you guys believe in superstition and what Patriots fans and what they do, and you think that has anything to do with the win. I can tell you I stayed home for 4 games. We won the Super Bowl. I went out for 2. We lost it. And the second thing is the play before the touchdown, second play before the touchdown, Butler stayed with the ball and found out the guy caught it, and you guys aren't giving him enough credit for the play before, which set up the touchdown.
Well,
I want your thoughts on that.
I think in terms of superstition, I think actually, Bob, that Devin and Jason McCourty would certainly agree with you in terms of superstition. Before, over the first couple of years of their respective careers, Jason McCourty, of course, is a cornerback for the Tennessee Titans, Devin's twin brother. They were in the stands for each other's games, including Jason being in the stands for Super Bowl 46, and neither twin had ever seen the other win in the NFL. They were combined 0-5. So over the last couple of years, they've avoided one another's NFL games. Jason was here in Massachusetts for the win over the Ravens, I believe. I know he was here for the AFC Championship game, but he was not in the stadium. He was in Phoenix on Sunday. He was really close to Glendale, actually. Devin made sure that he had a pass to be on the field in the hopes that they would be celebrating together. But Jason McCourty was not in the stands, and I'm sure Devin and Jason think that their little bit of superstition worked, that as close as they are, for whatever reason, they don't win when the other twin is in the stands for them. So that little bit of superstition, certainly.
And as far as Jermaine Kearse, Malcolm Butler defending that 3rd down pass, I mean, that is a play that's been overlooked because of the interception.
You know, I think it has. I think, you know, Malcolm Butler was credited with 3 pass breakups. And when you consider that he didn't play the whole game, it was more pass breakups than anybody else in the secondary was able to come away with. You have to give him a tremendous amount of credit. You know, he was forced into duty when Kyle Arrington struggled against Chris Matthews, and not necessarily to knock Kyle either, because Chris Matthews is 6'5", Kyle Arrington is 5'10" on his best day, I believe. So, you know, it was, they put Malcolm Butler in there to see if they could get a different look, different results, and he really just stepped up and rose to the occasion. He did have that pass breakup. He was the one that made the tackle when Kearse did have that tremendous catch on his back. And Kearse, if he had gotten up a little bit quicker, he could have run into the end zone. But I know one of the other secondary players sort of jumped over Butler and Kearse because they thought the play was over, and Butler was aware enough. I think so. And Butler was aware enough to get up and make that tackle. So, you know, again, I don't think that there's enough good things that you can say about Malcolm Butler when you consider everything that, you know, he had to go to 2 or 3 junior colleges before he ended up at Division II West Alabama. Only the Patriots offered him a contract. I know it was Patriot scout Francie Jourdain, who covers a lot of the South and the Southeast, who was the one that discovered him, deserves a ton of credit. Nick Caserio certainly pleased that Francie was able to do his job and find Malcolm Butler, and everyone thrilled that Malcolm Butler did his job for the Patriots on Sunday night.
There have been a lot of undrafted free agents that have made an impact on this team, but that's an interesting story right there. Maybe not to the degree of Malcolm Butler, the road he had to travel. We want to continue to take your calls right now. 866-ASK-NESN, that's 866-275-6376. And we have Rebecca up in Vermont.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Great.
So my question, I have 2 questions actually. Do you think that we're going to repeat the Super Bowl next year, and do you think they're going to sign Darrelle Revis again?
Well, maybe one has something to do with the other, right?
Yeah, I think certainly. I think in terms of repeating, It's so hard to do. I think there's a reason why the Patriots were the last team to do it over a decade ago now, that they won in 2003, 2004. And, you know, as Adam just indicated, certainly if they are able to keep Darrelle Revis around, whether it's just that they pick up his option for 2015 and he's here at least for next year and pay that $20 million to him, I think that would certainly go a long way toward helping them if you assume that, you know, they have great team health. And I think that's something that hasn't gotten a lot of attention to this point, but yes, they lost Gerard Mayo, and yes, they lost Stephen Ridley, but really that's it in terms of impact players that the Patriots played without for any significant period of time this year, as opposed to last year. I think, you know, when you look at, they lost Vince Wilfork and Gerard Mayo. Dante Hightower, it took him a while to find his way. Jamie Collins was still so young. He is still young, but he was only a rookie last year. So the NFL is not set up for teams to be as successful as the Patriots have been from year to year. So I think that would go a long way toward them possibly repeating is, you know, do they keep Darrelle Revis around at least for 2015? And then, you know, you never know what other teams are going to do. There's always some team that comes out of nowhere and does really well. There's also the question of Peyton Manning. Does he come back to play, and what kind of health will he be in? I think that's why you saw Peyton Manning really fall off toward the end of the season this year, is just because of that neck injury and how much he throws in games and how much he throws in practice. I think just by the end, his arm was kind of dead because of the surgeries that he's had. So I think it depends on the strength of the AFC again next year, and which team will they face in the Super Bowl in terms of, if they do make it that far, which team makes it from the NFC. I don't think the Seahawks are going anywhere for a little while.
No, it doesn't seem that, you know, and a lot of people are talking about that play tearing them apart. I don't think that's going to be the case. The question is Marshawn Lynch going to be on the Seattle Seahawks team next year? That's certainly a question for them moving forward. This is our live coverage of the Patriots Super Bowl parade, the rolling rally through the streets of Boston. And Elle Duncan and Don Orsillo are over at City Hall. And Elle, I know you guys are probably having a difficult time hearing me because it is so loud, but I can tell you I'm watching the duck boats right now. They're making their way towards the Boston Common area, which is close to Tremont Street, and then you'll be hearing a lot of noise. I think you'll be hearing a lot of noise pretty soon.
Hey, you guys, Adam in the studio just told me they're about to come.
That's not what I said, but that's okay.
Yeah, they need it, Adam.
Okay.
Because, so Don and I are standing here, Adam. Don and I are standing here, and I told you before, Adam had us do kind of an experiment where he was like, hey, yell out Tom Brady and see what they say. Some guy just asked me my last name. I said Duncan, and then the whole crowd started going, hey, Dunkin' Donuts! And so clearly they need actual people to yell for. So this is actually going to be pretty exciting.
Well, soon they're going to get their wish. They're going to see actual Patriots that are coming their way here. And not only actual Patriots, but I think it's also pretty cool the Patriots are including a lot of their former players as well. We talked about Matt Chatham and Jermaine Wiggins, who certainly we're friends with here at NESN, and we're so glad that they're part of this parade. But that's one thing I think the Patriots do very well, is include a lot of their former players and legends to be a part of this. We saw 8 buses go by, so there's a lot of people on there. Friends, families, and everything else are going to be part of this, and they'll never forget it, that's for sure.
And I know that your daughters got to be on the parade with you in 2013 as well.
Exactly.
How cool is that for the friends and family to kind of see that side of what their family members do?
I know it is something they'll never forget. You know, at the time they were 13 and 11, and I know they'll never forget it, and I certainly won't. And to see all these faces out here as we did in 2013, it's great to be out here to see the Patriots fans as well.
The Patriots fans and Red Sox fans are interchangeable, because the only person out here that's getting noticed probably more than Tom Brady will is Don Orsillo, as I've been calling him, Donnie Blue Eyes. And so, hey, like you said, Adam, we're kind of waiting. Everybody's on pins and needles. They're throwing stuff back and forth, tennis balls, footballs, anything they can get their hand on, snow, whatever, as we are in anticipation, because this is kind of the end of the parade route. So I know that a lot of people got to see them beforehand, but they are in for quite a surprise when they make their way down to Central Plaza, because it is crazy.
Yeah, the buildup continues, and I can tell you guys, and this is some good news to pass along. I'm looking at a state police SUV on Tremont Street right now, and that can only tell me that the duck boats can't be far behind. We're looking at different images of the duck boats rolling down Boylston Street, and they're getting closer and closer to Boston Common, and so we'll keep an eye on that. We do want to continue to encourage you to send us your tweets with the hashtag Parade Day, and these are your touts that you're sending in right now. Still images of you guys watching us, our coverage right here on NESN, watching on NESN.com. We're streaming there as well, and you can see those nice images right there from high above. So we continue to look at your images. We want you to send those to us using the hashtag Parade Day as we continue to celebrate the Patriots rolling rally right here on NESN, celebrating a 4th Super Bowl title. So Elle and Dawn are at City Hall Plaza. Elle can yell just about anything right now and get the crowd going. So we'll definitely check back in with them. But we were talking a little bit about the Patriots offseason, and I know, we're celebrating the rolling rally, and I understand that this is a time to celebrate. But, the question marks moving forward as far as the defense is concerned. Darrelle Revis is the biggest question, and I know that, we've been with folks throughout the morning talking about that. But if you could just reiterate what your thoughts are on the Darrelle Revis situation.
Well, I think it's in the Patriots' hands, really, whether or not they want to pick up the option for 2015 for him. The salary would be $20 million, although I think he would count $25 million against the salary cap because his bonus can be prorated over the length of the contract, which in this case is 2 years. So it is a lot of money. It's un-Patriot-like to see them devote that much money to one player. It would probably be around 18%-ish of what the total salary cap will be for next year. But, Bill Belichick figured out, or finally accepted a couple of years ago, that you really do need to have strong cornerbacks to play good defense in the NFL right now. So I don't think it's a coincidence that it was in the 2012 season that we first saw him acquire Aqib Talib, and then of course they re-signed Aqib Talib for the 2013 season. And then this year, when they couldn't keep Aqib Talib, they brought in Brandon Browner first, and then they were actually able to get Darrelle Revis as well. So they know that strong cornerback play is essential. And again, I think it's just a matter of, do the Patriots want to devote that much money to one player, or could they maybe get Darrelle Revis to sign something a little bit longer and keep him around even beyond the 2015 season? So that is certainly something that's going to play out over the coming weeks. The Patriots have, I believe, a little bit more than a month before they have to make the final decision on whether or not they will just pick up that 2015 option.
And it'll be nice to see Brandon Browner play a full season as well. Of course, he was suspended for the first 4 games of the 2014 season, so a full season from Brandon Browner could be in the works as well. We saw those images from high above. That was the end zone militia, the musket men, taking a left on Tremont Street right by Emerson College, heading towards Suffolk University, the Boston Common, and on their way to City Hall Plaza. As you take another look, and you can see the duck boats are not that far behind. You can see the Patriots cheerleaders right now making that left onto Tremont Street. So they are getting closer to the finish. We want to continue to take your calls right now. We have Roy calling from Vermont. Hey, Roy. Hello, Roy. Hello, Roy.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. How are things up in Vermont?
Snowy. Happy.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a question?
No, I just had a statement.
Sure.
Yeah, all I wanted to say is that, these years, with this whole cheating stuff going on, I mean, if the Patriots are such cheaters and if we needed to have an advantage on everybody, then, we would have won every Super Bowl we went to, and we would have been perfect that year. And, it's just, I call them the Patriots. That's what I call them. But I just can't be more prouder of them guys, and I can see them probably winning 3 or 4 more. So let's keep it going, and let's keep them boats warmed up for the Bruins.
Yeah, thanks very much, Roy, for the call. We appreciate it. Yeah, the Boston Bruins playing some pretty good hockey, but that's a story for another day. The Bruins in action tonight, actually. All right, we want to continue to take your calls. Gina in Connecticut. Hey, Gina. Hello, Gina.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. What's your question?
I have 2 questions. First one is, I've heard that Tom Brady has decided to give his truck to Malcolm Butler. Is that correct?
That is, Tom said he wants to do that. There's obviously some financial things I think that Tom would have to work out. It might just be that he has to pay the taxes for Malcolm or something along those lines, but he does want to make that happen and give the truck to Malcolm.
Is that Malcolm Butler is a free agent. Are they going to bring him back now that he's succeeded in such a good win for the Patriots?
He actually is not a free agent. He has, I believe, all undrafted rookie free agents, they can sign 3-year contracts. So he is signed for at least 2 more years with the Patriots. So he's not going anywhere just yet.
Well, Schlise, we've been taking calls from all over the place. We got a call. Marvin called us from Israel. We've gotten calls from Florida, from Los Angeles. And now Steve is on the line. Steve, where are you calling us from?
Southern Cal, Redondo Beach, transplant from Rhode Island. How's things going back there, guys?
A lot colder here than it is out there, Steve.
Hey, 2 points and then 1 question. Did you mentioned it earlier about Tom's look after Curtis caught that catch. He's like, you got to be kidding me. What do I got to do here to win these things? And it's not going to be 3 crazy catches to knock me out. I thought he showed real professional by not showing his true emotion inside. But come on, help me out here, guys. My second point is Pete Carroll. Is he going to get a ring from the Pats for that call? Because he made a similar call with when SC was playing Texas for the NCAA championship. Do you remember they were getting ready to score and they had Reggie Bush on the sideline and they didn't get in, and Young comes back and wins the championship on that. So you got to wonder about that. Maybe that's why Pete Carroll's not coaching the Pats, huh?
Certainly. You know, I saw people mention that play in the championship game a couple years ago when he was at USC. I think every coach has decisions that he regrets, and you hope that you don't make a bad decision at the absolute worst moment. So definitely, the Patriots not complaining that they made the decision they made to throw that pass, and certainly on the route that they decided to run. As we discussed earlier, it could have been a situation where maybe you throw at least more toward the sidelines where there would be perhaps more one-on-one coverage than really throwing into traffic.
Steve, we appreciate your call. We appreciate all your calls this morning into the afternoon as the Patriots rolling rally continues. We can see the End Zone Militia making their way up Tremont Street right now. The duck boat's not far behind, and that means Elle and Don, you can probably hear them as we speak.
Well, not yet, but what we can see is people starting to cheer a little bit as the fans are getting restless, Don. At this point, we are dodging tennis balls. They're throwing things.
They're getting a little bored here. We're going to need a duck boat soon.
We're going to need a duck boat ASAP. So as soon as they come around that bend, obviously, these fans will be very excited. I see some fans at the end of the street kind of cheering a little bit. Again, they're getting a little bit restless, but it's because, for the most part, they've been out here for 2 hours now ready to cheer on their team, and the excitement is still high, obviously. Clearly, they're still very, very excited to see their team. But, Don, yes, this is taking a little bit, and the fans here are a little bit cold, and they're just finding anything to project at people.
And there's lots of snow.
All right, guys, I think
snow doesn't hurt as bad as a tennis ball, I will say, Adam. But for now, yeah, they're kind of standing there and waiting. All eyes are on the parade route.
All right, the musket men are making their way up Tremont, and they've been firing their muskets. I guess you guys haven't heard that. We do want to see if we can listen in to see if they fire away once again. We'll try to get that to you a little bit, but we're still taking your calls here on NESN, 866 Ask NESN. And who do we have on the line now?
Hello?
John in Connecticut. Hey, John.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm great.
You have a question for Schlise?
Yeah, I got a question. Actually, I got 2 short questions. I've seen a lot of stuff online about all these renowned scientists doing testing on air inflation in the balls and stuff, and I hate that all that stuff is going on. It's crazy to me, but all these scientists are finding out that it's normal for the ball pressure to drop, just like a tire on a car. The tire pressures drop all the time in the winter. But my other question is, you know, they always complain about the Patriots, but has there ever been another team to win 6 division titles ever? I mean, ever? And go Boston Duck Tours, the #1 city of Boston, greatest country, you know, greatest city in the whole country. I mean, we've got a lot of great countries, a lot of great cities, but.
All right, John. We appreciate your call. Thanks very much. As far as you know, one of your points, you know, Tom Brady has been to 6 Super Bowls, and no other quarterback has been to 6 Super Bowls. He's won 4 of them. Joe Montana, 4-0 in Super Bowls. So that is certainly unprecedented. As we take a look at the duck boats, and let's see if we can listen in to some of the crowd noise right now, if possible. Try to pump that through the sound right around Boston Common area. As you can see, Jonathan Kraft holding the Vince Lombardi Trophy along flanked on the other end by Robert Kraft, and the fans loving every second of it.
Have to have a good grip on that trophy. I'd be so afraid to drop it.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? They're experienced in this, though,
They
Shalise.
do. Robert and Jonathan definitely have a lot of experience with this now. 4 times that they've been part of one of these rolling rallies and bringing the Lombardi Trophy to the fans, or as close as it can get to the fans.
And talk about Bill Belichick and, you know, what he was able to do, the milestones that he reached this season, passing Curly Lambeau and the, you know, regular season wins, and Tom Landry and playoff wins, and matching Chuck Noll with Super Bowl titles. It was milestone after milestone this year for Bill Belichick, and, you know, Tom Brady, obviously, you know, matching Joe Montana, and so it was just, you know, just a year, just a unbelievable year from that perspective, and all that stuff is almost forgotten in, you know, sort of the Deflategate and what we had, you know, after the AFC Championship game. But when you look back on it, Shalise, this was an incredible season from that point of view.
It really was, and you know, Tom Brady, you mentioned, you know, he has more postseason wins, I believe, than 21 franchises in the NFL have in their respective histories, and that's, you know, when you consider Tom Brady really has been the Patriots starter for 13 years. He didn't start his rookie year, and then he missed the entire 2008 season because of that torn ACL. So the achievement that he has and the numbers that he has put up in his time as the Patriots starting quarterback, and of course, you know, having the coach that he does in Bill Belichick, and it's just such a great marriage between the two of them and how well they work together professionally and how driven the two of them are. It really just speaks volumes, and I think it just underscores how important stability is just in general. You know, you look at so many other, I believe I saw the stat, you know, early in January, it was the 15th anniversary of the Patriots hiring Bill Belichick, and over 100 head coaches have been hired and fired in the 15 years that the Patriots have had Bill Belichick as their head coach. So I'm sure you can look at that and say, you know, there's a reason why they've been so successful, and part of it is just the stability and the continuity of having arguably the greatest head coach of all time and arguably the greatest starting quarterback of all time for that time, for that duration.
Yeah, just an incredible statistic, an incredible run as we look at Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator, with the Lombardi Trophy. We saw Josh McDaniels in there as well, waving to the crowd.
Even Ernie Adams smiling. That man in the old-fashioned glasses there, that is the man of mystery, Ernie Adams. Everyone sort of jokes and laughs about him. He is essentially a football savant, and remembers football plays from like 1937, and will bring them up to Bill Belichick, and probably had a large hand in the Patriots, you know, eligible, ineligible plays that they ran against the Ravens and those sorts of things. But even Ernie Adams happy on a day like today.
So many people working behind the scenes for the New England Patriots, helping them to be what they are, and that is Super Bowl champions. We want to continue to take your calls right now. We have Carl calling us from North Carolina. Hi, Carl.
Hey, guys. How are you? Tough act following John from Connecticut, but I'm going to try really hard, okay?
Go give me your best shot.
Shalice, my question to you is, you walk into a bar and you see Dave Roberts and Malcolm Butler sitting there, and you only have enough money for one drink. Who gets it?
Oh, geez. You know, I think I'd probably give it to Malcolm Butler because he only made about $400,000 this year, and I'm sure Dave Roberts made far more than that when he was with the Red Sox.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'll even things out and say it's got to be Dave Roberts for me back in 2004. But that's just me. First World Series title in 86 years. That that definitely deserves a couple of pops. All right, let's go to Steve calling us from Connecticut. Hey, Steve.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
Not too bad. I just wanted to comment on anyone that would compare Tom Brady to Peyton Manning anymore. And I just would like to point out that Tom Brady has more Super Bowl rings than Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, and Archie Manning combined.
He has the whole Manning family blanketed.
And then, if you want to compare him to Joe Montana, and I think Montana is one of the greatest quarterbacks. He's the only one up there with Brady. But Joe Montana had Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver in the history of football. Where is Tom Brady's Joe Montana? He was able to get to 6 Super Bowls without a Jerry Rice and win 4 of them. And what happened to, Joe Montana on the 2 that he didn't make? It's like he didn't make the Super Bowl for 2. Did he make the playoffs? I mean, he had more one-and-dones than Tom Brady. So you can't just say because he lost 2, he's worse. He brought his team to the Super Bowl 6 times without Jerry Rice.
Well, first off, I don't think, Steve, personally, I don't think people are comparing Tom Brady to Peyton Manning anymore. I think those days are over.
No, I think, Peyton Manning, I think if we're going to give Peyton Manning a title, it would be greatest regular season quarterback ever. But for the number of one-and-dones that he's had, and you talk about Joe Montana having Jerry Rice at his disposal, Peyton Manning first had Marvin Harrison, a finalist for the Hall of Fame this year. Then he had Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne will be in the discussion for the Hall of Fame when his playing days are done. So, you're right, Steve. If, we discussed this before, Randy Moss will probably be in the Hall of Fame someday, but he was only with Tom Brady for a little more than 3 seasons. So, no, Tom Brady, the first 3 Super Bowls he won, he was throwing to Troy Brown and David Patton and Kevin Falk. It's possible that Rob Gronkowski someday, if he has the longevity and he is able to stay on this healthy path that he was on this year, Rob Gronkowski may be in the Hall of Fame someday as well, because he certainly is trending to be the most productive tight end in the history of the NFL. But definitely, when you talk about the weapons that Tom Brady has had at his disposal, it's Tom Brady making the guys around him better and not the other way around.
We appreciate your calls. We want you to keep them coming as well. 866-ASK-NESN. That's 866-275-6376. We go back to Arizona, and Mac is on the line. Mac, did you go to the game?
I did not. I doled out a lot of money in 2008 to go to the game, and that was a bit of a heartbreak. We were about 25 rows up from where Plaxico Burress caught that pass, and it was a very difficult night's sleep after that game.
Much different this time around, though, Mac, wouldn't you say?
It was great. It was just awesome. Although it felt, for all of Patriots Nation, very, very bad at one point. After Kearse caught that ball, I looked at my wife and I said, I just don't think any team deserves to lose 3 Super Bowls based on miracle catches between Tyree and Manningham and now Kearse. And, well, as it turned out, Malcolm Butler changed that. So per the previous caller, I would probably buy Dave Roberts a drink, because I'm not sure Malcolm Butler is old enough to drink. Maybe there's enough money left over for a soda for him. My question, though, to Shalice was what she thought of the officiating in the game. Seemed like there were some non-calls there, and she watches the game closely, and just her thoughts on the overall officiating.
Well, first, before we do that, if you're watching on NESN, you just saw a shot there of Malcolm Butler as we were just talking about him. You saw him on the duck boat. I think he's on a boat with Patrick Chung. But in terms of the officiating, I think They sort of let the players play. I do think there were a couple of things that could have been called. I think certainly you could have seen a defenseless receiver flag on the hit that Julian Edelman took there in the fourth quarter. There were a couple of other plays where I think you probably could have had flags, but I think they just let both sides play. I personally don't think it was swayed one way or the other. And to me, if there's great officiating, if it's great for both sides, that's good. If there's bad officiating, as long as it's bad for both sides, that kind of works as well. But I do think you see more in the postseason that the officials kind of just let the teams play, and they're not quite as ticky-tack as they are in the regular season.
I don't think the officials determine the outcome of the game. They certainly weren't a part of this one. I don't think anybody's saying that, which is a great thing.
Absolutely.
We don't have to tell you who that is. They are getting closer to City Hall Plaza, by the way. We will check back in with El Duncan and Don Orsillo momentarily, but we want to continue to take your calls right now on NESN, live on NESN, and we go to Lynn, I believe, in Maine.
Yes, hi there, young fella.
How are you, kind sir?
Well, I'd be willing to bet the farm I'm not as good looking as you, but I'm fine, thank you very much.
Are you watching NESN? No, I just want to make sure you're watching us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it is fantastic. I love your coverage. It is absolutely great. And my question, please, who was it that tackled Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line? Because whoever it was is not getting enough credit, because if he hadn't made that tackle, then there wouldn't have been the infamous interception by Butler.
I do believe that was Dante Hightower who was able to make that tackle, and absolutely he deserves a tremendous amount of credit for being able to make that play. Brian Tim standing on top of a duck boat.
Yes.
I just need to point that out because I don't know. I know it's not moving very fast, but that doesn't look really safe there, Brian Tim.
Julian Edelman looks like he's got 1 foot. He's going to do that too. Hopefully they both stay safe. But continue, Shalise.
No, it was Dante Hightower, and as we discussed earlier, the season that he had, and really just the confidence that he gained from the end of last season into this season, being comfortable in the playbook, being comfortable in his place in this defense, and getting more opportunities. He was, I believe, second or third on the team in sacks. So it wasn't just that he was, making tackles in terms of ball carriers and things like that. He got to diversify a little bit, got to go after the quarterback and those sorts of things. So certainly, he came into the NFL when he was drafted out of Alabama, played for Nick Saban, best friends with Bill Belichick. You expected great things from him, and I think you're starting to see now what he is able to do. As
you alluded earlier, he took his mother's advice, and he was just himself.
Right.
And I believe he was dealing with a shoulder injury as well, a torn labrum that he'll have surgery on in the offseason. Is that correct?
Yes.
So playing hurt, as a lot of guys do at this time of year, but still, that's a pretty significant injury. And as Lynn mentioned, that was one heck of a tackle and saved the touchdown right there. We want to go out to California once again. We got Iggy on the line. Hey, Iggy.
Hi, this is Iggy.
Hey, Iggy, what's up?
Hey, two things first. My first thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is I want to challenge you guys a little bit on the perception that the Patriots are so hated worldwide. I do extensive traveling for work. I've been all over the country kind of the past 2 weeks during all this Deflategate stuff. And it was kind of surprising to me how many people were brushing all of that off. I mean, obviously, the New York Post is always going to rag on the Patriots, and I think ESPN is always going to keep it as a big story in the media. But it was kind of surprising to me how much support I heard for the Patriots. I'm here in San Francisco, so obviously Tom Brady's a local guy. He gets a lot of love, and there's obviously huge hatred for the Seahawks here being rivals. But I'm just a little surprised to hear you guys keep going back to that us against the world kind of thing. I don't know, I was just wondering to hear your thoughts on that a little more.
That's an interesting perspective because I think, the thought is that it is an us against the world mentality because of the Deflategate, because of the history with this Patriots team, Spygate in particular. And I think the perception is outside of New England that there is a hatred towards this Patriots team. So that's an interesting perspective right there.
It is, certainly. And we've, with the Patriots having gone over to London twice now, Robert Kraft is very proud of saying that the Patriots are the most popular team in the UK, and certainly we had a caller who called earlier from Israel, and because he is a frequent visitor to Israel. There is also a large Patriots following there. I didn't mean to say that there isn't support for the Patriots. I think it's just that people who don't follow the Patriots, I just think there's a fair number of people who, because of Bill Belichick, and because people just, he's not the most lovable guy.
Right.
You know, Bill Belichick he isn't. And I think that there are just a certain number of people, and it is fed by certain media outlets who clearly do have an agenda against the Patriots.
And sometimes success breeds contempt.
Exactly.
And that is what has happened with the Patriots. Because they have been so successful, they have a bullseye on them in more ways than one. As we take a look at Stephen Ridley, who
looks like his knee's okay.
Yeah, looks like, well, we saw, I don't know if you caught that video of him in the hot tub in the week leading up to the Super Bowl when he was doing some rehab before heading down to Arizona. So he's clearly in rehab mode, and this is the running back core right here. You can see that's Jonas Gray, I believe, LeGarrette Blount, Brandon Bolden. So those guys all contributing to the Patriots' cause, and I thought it was interesting. There was a different leading rusher each month of the season. So it just goes to show you it is a distribution philosophy with this Patriots team.
It really is, and it underscores just how different the Patriots offense is than the Seahawks offense. That they, as long as they're blocking well, they have guys that they trust. It was Jonas one month, it was Stephen Ridley one month before he got hurt, and then once they acquired LeGarrette Blount, it became him. And then on the other hand, Russell Wilson says that he wants to throw as a last resort, and he wants to hand off to Marshawn Lynch every time, which, hey, it's generally effective, so that's not a bad game plan to have, but it absolutely just underscores the difference. And I think it's almost more of a split now because running backs take such a beating. There are a fair number of teams who have just that bell cow running back, but then there are a fair number of teams that do split the carries between multiple players, and we certainly saw that with the Patriots this year for a variety of reasons, but they really like having that change of pace type of back with Shane Vereen when he gets in there, and they, maybe Stephen Ridley would have remained as the number one back had he not gotten hurt, but certainly speaks to their scouting department, speaks to the coaching of their running backs coach, Ivan Fears, one of the nicest men you will ever meet, loves his players tremendously. But certainly a good job by him that he always has his players ready, however many guys it takes to get them ready to run the ball.
Well, as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, the finish line is in sight. The first confetti truck arriving in City Hall, so we want to waste no more time. Send it out to Elle Duncan and Don Orsillo. Hey, guys.
Hey, so yeah, Don and I are standing here, and I think the first clue that they were coming was the sound of the musket from the Minutemen, and then you could start to see the ticker tape, and there goes the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd's picked up. I'm surprised they have any of the papier-mâché left here as they're coming through right now, but they do. The confetti's flying down here, and it's all good right now as they make their way in. This crowd's waited a good long time, and they are ready to go.
They are ready and excited to see the silly strings coming out. Still can't tell exactly who's on this first. Now, Don, walk me. This isn't a duck boat. This is just a semi. Am I?
This is your basic semi.
Yeah,
it looks like to me.
It's just your basic semi. It's the confetti truck. Okay, so no actual players on the confetti truck, although arguably the most important part. And yeah, so this finally is winding down towards here, Center Plaza. They're coming down Cambridge Street right to us. And Don, as we've said, this is exciting not only because, yes, the Patriots won another championship, but because of what this city has been through in the last week with the weather. You can't park anywhere. Transit's been down, and they're still here.
They've been cooped up, and they've been ready to celebrate since they won. Really since the AFC Championship to be fired up, and they get their chance now, and they're ready to go.
They're blowing the smoke. The confetti is flying. Obviously, the fans are very excited. The flags have come out. As we're just now starting to get kind of our first glance of what's happening towards us, this is a band that we're hearing. Can't have a parade without that.
I think he's taking hats from.
This much confetti in the Red Sox parade, Don? This much confetti in the Red Sox parade?
I would say yes.
Now here's my bigger question. Who picks all of this up at the very end?
That's a good question. Actually, they do a very good job of it. It happens very quickly. I've seen it before.
At the end of the Super Bowl, we were down on the field and we started grabbing some of the confetti and stuffing it into our stuff as souvenirs just to have a little piece of Super Bowl 49 from the field. So this is obviously going to go with my Super Bowl 49 confetti. I'm going to have a whole collection at my house. And we're finally getting our first glance of the actual duck boats. We're listening into the crowd here. The players haven't quite made their way down to the risers, which is where we're standing. There goes the muskets.
There go the muskets again. Up close and personal that time.
And there goes the crowd. Scared me a little bit. And the first duck boat is just kind of making its way close, so fans can't exactly tell who's on it just yet. They're kind of all standing in anticipation. The band has stopped in front of us. I'm being told that the Kraft family is in the very first duck boat, and needless to say, deservedly so. And really, just what great ownership with Boston sports in general. I mean, just such a commitment to winning and consistently wanting to be there. They could have rested on their laurels years ago and been happy with the dynasty that they had built, but they continue to make moves, they continue to make changes. You know, no job is safe when it comes to the Patriots, and for good reason. That's because they expect and they have an expectation to win.
And we've talked about the Crafts and what they have brought to the table here since taking over the New England Patriots. It's been amazing. I mean, you think about the Patriots before the Crafts and what they've really done since then. And you mentioned all the ownership groups and the Red Sox, no doubt about that, what they've been able to do with John, Tom, and Larry. So it's been an incredible run for Boston sports, and these Patriots fans certainly happy with Robert Kraft and the way he's taken over.
Oh, absolutely. Matt Chatham was telling me, former Patriot Matt Chatham, of course, was telling me that at the Patriots party, you know, they have their own private party at their hotel, which was out in Chandler Park in Arizona. They said that Rick Ross was on stage, and he called out Robert Kraft as the coolest, can't say the word, owner, and then Robert Kraft came on stage with his bedazzled shoes that Ty Law gave him and danced with Rick Ross. I'm like, what? And he said he hung out until 3 o'clock in the morning. You know,
Yeah.
this is a man that could have made his appearance and left, but he truly loves this environment, being around his team.
Not your average owner, to say the least.
Not at all. And you can just listen to the crowd, obviously very excited. Boston Ford Productions congratulates the Patriots as the band's going by, getting the crowd hyped up. The confetti's still flying. They've stopped throwing snow and tennis balls, so I'm happy with that.
Interesting to know, too, and one thing I remember from the duck boats in the past is not only the fans here on the ground that can see, but the fans up in the buildings as well. Everybody's kind of stopped working in the area, and, you know, so many different people hanging out on the different ledges here throughout Boston trying to get a look at this parade, and pretty special time.
Arguably the best seat in the house. They're warm.
Yes, they're warm.
Indoors. They're watching the parade without jackets on, and then they don't have to deal with this craziness once the actual parade is over. And now they've started a chant of "Let's go, Pats." Every time the confetti and smoke goes, so does the crowd.
And Lombardi Trophy making its way in down here to the City Hall area.
There it is. And they've got them all. They've got them all. Robert Kraft, of course, holding
trophies,
yes,
I should say.
Yeah, trophies. They've got all of them here. Waving at the crowd. Dangling the Lombardi. It's about as close as most of these people are going to get a chance to the Lombardi, and that in and of itself is so cool. This might be the closest they get to the players that they've watched and loved for years and to the Lombardi itself.
Yeah, a lot of these fans may not have gotten to Gillette this season. As many as go out there on a regular basis, they have their chance to see their team right here, right now. And as we talked about before, you know, you got the Super Bowl in a neutral site. You don't have a chance to celebrate with your team. Today you do, as they bring it back home.
And on top of that, it was a $10,000 ticket. So even if you could go to the Super
pricey.
Bowl, it was a tad bit pricey. Worth its weight in gold, I might say, but I also got in for free, so.
And there is Robert Kraft.
Yes. The Kraft family and the crowd holding up a #1 and a 4.
Mike?
He's pointing at particular, he just looks so fired up. Do you think this feels different if not for some of the controversy? And not even just Deflategate, but in the beginning of the year when they were 2-2 and there was the is Tom Brady washed up, and is this team any good? And even former Patriots saying this team's going to have a hard time winning games. Do you think it feels as good and as sweet, if not for all of that?
You know what? I think it is. I really do. I think a lot of that has to do with how sweet this really is. I mean, everything that went on, talk about Kansas City being the turning point for this team. As the year went on, they just got better and better and better, and now they're Super Bowl champions again.
Super Bowl champions for the 4th time, and the fans are letting them know. Got a little Jay-Z playing. Allow me to reintroduce myself. A lot of selfie sticks in the crowd right now.
Yeah, that's one new element to the Duck Boat Parade that I've not seen before. The
What's
selfie
that?
sticks are now big.
Yes.
That's a new thing.
Yes, everybody's their own journalist. I actually see our Patriots NESN.com beat writer Doug Kyde on one of the Duck boats. Oh, they're falling in the mud, they're slipping, they're sliding, they're very excited. And Bill Belichick passing the crowd. Another Lombardi along with Matt Patricia. I know Adam's been keeping you guys aware of what's happening on these boats. This is
Bill
our first time
Belichick
seeing
now
it.
in front of us.
Yes, right in front of us. And not wearing a hoodie, surprisingly. Or not surprisingly. See Josh McDaniels, he looks very excited. Now they're playing Hip Hop Hooray by Naughty by Nature, and the crowd is waving their hands. There's definitely a party atmosphere down here on Cambridge Street right now. Josh McDaniels getting in on it too. And nice to see Bill Belichick in such a kind of light, happy atmosphere, because that's not the Bill Belichick that we see day in and day out at press conferences and on the sideline, and it's nice to see, right?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. See the smile on his face, you know they won a championship.
He did what he's got to do. Some of the Patriots told me last week that Bill Belichick isn't exactly different behind the scenes, that he is kind of that guy. He's just Bill. That's what I kept hearing. But that he has a way of connecting with his team that people wouldn't understand.
It's amazing how many different players they've gone through, you know, in these 4 championships. You think about the different guys that have been here under Bill, and it's almost like in some ways it doesn't matter who's underneath them. I mean, he's got to have Tom Brady, but beyond that, there's so many different parts that fit into his system that will lead you to a championship.
And that means making tough decisions. I mean, there's been a lot of decisions to cut people, to let people go, people that are fan favorites. But when it comes to winning a championship, that's what they're committed to. And that's why they call him the evil genius. Got the Patriots cheerleaders rolling by.
How many boats in all, do we know?
Do we know how many boats, guys, back there? Duck boats is what we're being told. 23 duck boats. So we've seen 5. And of course, they're paying homage to all of the Boston sports teams on this particular truck. And again, talking about what we said before, just the consistency of winning in Boston on all facets when it comes to their sports teams.
No, it's truly been incredible. And you think about all the parades the fans have had to celebrate. One thing they know how to do is a parade right now. We got that covered.
Yes, they do. Pat the Patriot. And now it's getting loud. friends and family. I don't think there's females that play for the Patriots, so friends and family on these boats as well, looking just as excited as the players.
Yeah, the cool part of it is for the players and the coaching staff, the trainers, the broadcasters, everybody who's kind of involved with the team. They have the opportunity to bring their families, which is something they'll never forget. So yeah, a great many families on these duck boats as well with the players. And let's be honest, a lot of these players sacrifice a lot to play and are away from their families a long time. So this is something special for the entire family to enjoy.
And their families sacrifice a lot as well. It's funny, when I was on the field, I'm standing there with Brandon Browner and his 2 kids were there, and I looked at him and I said, "Your dad is a world champion. How cool is that?" And he just looked at me and was so unimpressed and was like, "It's cool."
He's still dad. He's just dad to me.
It's just dad. You're hearing a lot of chants for MVP.
We understand Tom Brady is about 3 duck boats back where we are right now.
No doubt the crowd will let us know when Tom Brady is near. I have a feeling.
Talk about people who know how to do a parade. Tom Brady's got that down.
You think that he starts having input? He's like, well, in the last 3 we did this, so let's try it this way. Maybe an event planner, once his football career is over, he could plan these. Darrelle Revis, they're yelling Revis. I love watching the players as well. As everyone has their phones out to look at the players got their phones out to look at the crowd.
They're taking videos. They don't want to forget this.
No.
This is something, they'll never forget, but it's great to have the video footage to remember, too.
And as Tom Brady said, he wins 3 so very early on in his career when he was a kid, and he didn't fully appreciate how difficult it would be to get back here and to win, because they've been here, but to win it again, as we mentioned, Tom Brady, and he's rolling by right now. No doubt there would be a Lombardi on his duck boat, and they see him, the crowd holding up 4, as Tom Brady, tied with Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw for most Super Bowl wins, rolls by. Looks like he's got a sleeping child on his shoulder. We talking about kids being
I don't know how many kids sleep through this, but he is.
He is not impressed. And Jimmy Garoppolo on the duck boat with Tom Brady, maybe hoping for this opportunity in the future. But for Patriots fans, hopefully in the far future. Rolls by and the crowd is getting their glimpse of the team. We're really in the heart of the duck boat tour. We're going to toss it back to Adam Pellerin. And Adam, I know that you've done a great job walking everybody through this parade from the beginning. This is our first time seeing it, so bear with us if we repeat it a little bit, but obviously a lot of excitement for a crowd that's been waiting for almost 3 hours to see their world champs.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy down there, no doubt about it, and why not, right? Time to party here in the city of Boston and celebrate a 4th Super Bowl championship. Joining us on the phone right now is a man who is on the first Patriots Super Bowl championship team, a guy that you see all the time here on NESN, former Patriots tight end Jermaine Wiggins. And Wiggy, you're on a duck boat right now, aren't you?
I'm on the duck boat in the heart of the crowd. Hey, you guys are on NESN. Can you hear the crowd?
Oh, yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, we're out there on the duck boat. We're partying. We're out there. We're having a whole bunch of fun. You're out of control. I'm out of control. This whole damn party's out of control.
Wiggy, tell us about your ride. Tell us about the duck boat ride.
Well,
tell us more about your day.
The day has been spectacular. The crowds are packed. Wall to wall. We're on the boat. Everybody here is having fun. I'm with the family, the wife, the kids. We've been up and going. We went down Boylston. We're on Tremont in front of the Army House now. I tell you what, there's no better
Wiggy, how does this compare to the time where you were a player and you were on the duck boat?
Wow.
How does this compare to the first time you were on a duck boat, back when you won it in 2002?
I'll tell you what, it was great, but this is even better. I got the wife and the kids. I got the experience. When, back in 01, they didn't have that. I got Gronkowski in front of me on the duck boat. He's tearing it up right now. This whole place is going crazy. We got the fans and people everywhere. I tell you what, there's no better place to be than right here, right now.
All right, Wiggy. Well, thanks for checking in with us. We know you're having a great time.
Hold on. Hey, guys, hold on. Who wants to be on that shit?
Hey, Wiggy, is Chatham with you?
You're out of control.
Wiggy, is Chatham with you right now? Matt Chatham.
Chatham is with me on the duck boat. He's back there. He's hanging out a window right now.
All right, sounds good, Wiggy. Well, thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it, and we're going to send things.
No problem.
All right, have fun. All right, we're going to send things back down to City Hall Plaza. El Duncan, how's it going?
Yes, Adam. As you guys just saw, probably Julian Edelman just stole the show, standing on top of the duck boat without a shirt on. He stole one of the signs that one of the fans in the crowd had, the Richard Sherman sign that said, "How many rings does Tom Brady have now?" with the 4, and just really playing to the crowd. And that's what you love, because when push comes to shove, these people aren't out here to get a little friendly way. I mean, they want to see those players and ownership as excited as they are.
No doubt about it. He was up on top of the duck boat, too, which I think made some people nervous because he was standing on the roof. But he's athletic enough. He'll be all right. But it definitely got a roar out of the crowd down here when he did it.
You gotta hate to be the duck boat that has to follow that, though, right?
Yeah, no, that's a tough act to follow.
During the Red Sox parade, was there a particular duck boat that stole the show?
Yeah, back in the day, Jonathan Papelbon doing his dance way back. It was definitely one that we remember. It was right around here, right around City Hall, where we really got it done with Dropkick Murphys. We got more guys standing on top of duck boats coming down here into the area.
Speaking of Dropkick Murphys, in the Super Bowl, when they introduced the teams to run out on the field, they played Dropkick Murphys as Tom Brady's coming down the hall and onto the field, and then they switched to Nirvana when Seattle came onto the field. It was pretty fun, though, to kind of see, very colloquial artists for both teams.
A little bit from both areas.
My vision's not great. I think that's Shane Vereen. Is that Shane Vereen standing on top of the? I can't see well. That is Shane Vereen on top of the. And he was so excited. I got a chance to talk to Shane right after the Super Bowl on the field, and he just kept saying, we're world champions. It doesn't get any better than this. This feels so great. We worked so hard for this, and now we're world champs.
Cold for that.
It's all fun and games until you get pneumonia.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about whether or not they should have backed off this parade perhaps at the weekend, but very difficult to keep the entire team here for any length of time. And that's one thing I know that the Red Sox have run into a few times. You'd like to have everybody come on Saturday, but these guys are done. You know, they've done what they had to do. They got their championship, and now they want to celebrate with their fans, but they're headed after this parade virtually everywhere across the country to head home after a long season.
Exactly. Very few of them actually live in and around the Boston area. They've spent months away from their homes, and they do. And, you know, there were some that would say, well, we here, and the least they can do is stick around. But you're right. When you're done, you're done. And so to give them a couple of days to say goodbye and to let them go on, I think it was important to postpone it, though. I'm glad they decided not to do this yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt.
And now we are about to, I imagine the crowd's about to go crazy because inside this duck boat with the yellow hat, it's Gronk.
World champion.
Gronk holding up a sign someone just handed up, a Gronking to Remember, of course in reference to his romance novel, a Gronking to Remember, the romance novel that was pulled. Surprised that Gronk isn't on top of the duck boat shirtless, right?
I'm a little surprised. He's very much under control. I mean, he's inside. He's not on top.
He's very tame. Now I'm being told he started the parade on top.
All right, so
maybe he got
down.
maybe he came back. It's a little cold, so maybe he decided to move it back indoors. Crowd obviously loving to see Gronk. So many Gronk jerseys in the crowd right now. Brady and Gronk. Saw a Wes Welker jersey, which was a little bold, I gotta say. Now the crowd is starting to chant, "We want 5." And you know what, Don? As difficult as it was to get back here, you've got Tom Brady, who's playing, you know, at a very high level still, 14 seasons in. But you also have one of the best Patriots defenses that you've had in a very long time. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with Darrelle Revis. Essentially, they'd have to give him $20 million to stay. But with some of the young corners and the pieces that they put together, they've got Brandon Brown on long term. Is it that crazy to believe that they could be right here next year?
Absolutely, and the youth of the team everybody talks about as well. You take Tom Brady out of the mix as far as the youth of the team goes, but everywhere else, I mean, this is a very young team. There's no reason to think they can't come back and do the same thing. I mean, they're going to have to go through a very tough NFC on the other side again and face somebody very difficult out there. Maybe it'll be Seattle again, but, you know, you have to believe they're going to be right back there again next year with the youth that they have.
And you've got to believe that if you can take down the #1 defense over the last 3 years in football, that there's not a whole lot you can't do.
Now that some of the big guys have gone through, some are starting to move their way towards the end of this run where the players will be getting off the duck boats and onto the buses. Some are starting to move now that we have seen the Tom Brady's, the Gronks come through, and Vince Wilfork as well.
Yes. Saw Julian Edelman.
Yes.
I think the crowd is starting to take a rolling calculation in their head. All right, we've seen Bill, we've seen Robert, we've seen everybody. And you're right, they are starting to kind of move their way down towards the end. Some of them just headed towards the train. Looks as though we got a lot of friends and family on this bus. And yeah, the crowd is shifting. They're moving. They came to see who they wanted to see. It's kind of funny. As each person, like, you look at the jerseys, and as that person rolled by, that jersey would walk away. They saw Tom Brady, and then the Tom Brady jerseys.
We saw a lot of Brady jerseys leave.
A lot of Gronkowski jerseys are gone.
And now for our vantage point, the last boat making its way through.
Yes, an empty boat at that. And I think the fans have had their piece. It was a long 3 hours, but they were here and they were ready. You know, honestly, fans were lining up at 9:30, 10. We didn't see really the huge influx of people until about 11, 11:30, which is when they anticipated this to start. But they've gotten their fill. They're excited, and I think they're ready to go. They're moving on.
I'd be curious to know how many people came out from their offices and were downtown here to work today and came out for part of the parade, or how many people came down here just on their own and commuted in. Based on the traffic, a lot of people did come in, at least from the south where I was coming in from, but certainly a lot of people came out of their buildings down here to be here, part of this celebration. So.
And I'd be interested to see how many people said, I'm not going to work, I'm avoiding downtown
Exactly.
altogether.
Yeah, but after 2 days cooped in, tough to do that. I mean, you know, with all the snow and everything else, certainly difficult.
Well, as you see, the fans are still very excited and loving a camera. Holding up lots of number 4s. We want 5s. We've seen all kind of signs, all kind of fans, all kinds of people. All right, so Don, as we start to wrap things up, I want to know, because as we said before, this was your first time on this side as a spectator in a parade. How different was it as opposed to being up on those actual duck boats?
You know what? It was very different for me to see it from this vantage point, but I'll tell you what, as far as the crowd goes, this is every bit as big from at least where we sit here at City Hall as it has been for the Red Sox parades coming through. At least the group that was here, I mean, as far as you could see, there were people to the right and they were stacked up on the other side as well. So having been on a boat a few times, it looked the same to me as it normally does.
Is this one of those things that stays with you? I mean, how long are these guys going to remember? For a guy like Tom Brady, this is his 4th, you wonder if one stands out over another, but can you talk about your first time comparatively to your 3rd?
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what, my 3rd was my greatest for me, being on the duck boat because of everything the Red Sox had gone through and everything the city of Boston had gone through. For the Red Sox in 2013, it was certainly soon after the bombing in Boston, and it was such an emotional time. But for the Patriots, it's been a while now for them to get on here, so I think this is going to be very emotional for them, you know, having all the adversity they had in those 2 weeks leading up, and to share it here with their fans was very special, and so many people came out to see them.
They really did. Like we said before, I was a little bit surprised at just how many people showed up. At first I thought, okay, we'll have a couple thousand and that will be good because it's cold and it's a Wednesday and people have to work. I was so wrong. Thousands upon thousand people have showed up. They're still here. They want 5. So on that note, we'll see if the Patriots can repeat. Maybe we'll be here same time, same place next season. Until then, it's the Red Sox turn.
It's almost time. Leave it in 2 weeks.
Leave it in 2 weeks. Getting ready for the Red Sox. But we're going to send it back to the television center. Adam, it's been fun out here. We're a little bit cold, but wow, what a blast. Really cool to be a part of it. Next time, make a call and get me on a duck boat.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year. You never know. I think it could happen. I'll see what I can do. All right. This is NESN's live coverage of the Super Bowl victory parade. We'll have more right after this. An outstanding day, an outstanding celebration in the city of Boston as the Patriots celebrate their 4th Super Bowl title in franchise history. Despite the snow, despite it being cold, despite it being a work or school day, thousands of people came out to celebrate their New England Patriots, and what a celebration it was. For myself, the Boston Globe's Shalise Manzi-Young, Don Orsillo, L. Duncan, our cameras on the ground, we thank you for watching our live coverage of the Super Bowl victory parade. Come back tonight on NESN Live at 5:30, NESN Sports Today later tonight at 10 p.m. Thanks for watching.